All right, everybody, welcome back to the Lions Pit podcast. I am your host, Nick Gomez. With me today is my good friend, Mike Gonzales,
What's up, dude?
super talented artist. Just blessed to have you here on the show today, man.
Man, thanks for having me. This is great.
Yeah, stoked, dude. I mean, it's funny. I feel like pre-recording, we already cut like a good episode.
Dude, we've been talking for the past 15 minutes.
Yeah.
How come not? Jamie, why weren't you rolling?
Yeah. Yeah, we got it on video somewhere.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
It'll get cut in there somehow.
Yeah. So how you feeling, brother?
I feel great, man. I feel great. A little tired. Last night we did, so Monday nights we do Kill Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Last night we had a double taping.
Yeah.
And that's like, takes a lot of energy, man. You got to be on. But it was fun. It was, we had some pretty powerful shows yesterday.
Oh, nice. What time do you guys wrap up if you do like something like that?
So if we do, like last night was a bit different. This is the first time we did those times. So we did one at 6 and one at 10 p.m. And we've never done a show that late at 10.
Yeah.
So the show usually runs 2 hours, 15.
Yeah.
We started at 10 and we probably didn't finish till 12:30. So it was like a full show, man.
Yeah, and then I'm sure you have like a lot of like breakdown and stuff after that, right?
Oh yeah, I mean I break down all my own stuff,
Yeah.
and they like the stage is like all being torn down at the same time, and it's
What's the format of Kill Tony? Like because I haven't been to a show yet.
Yeah.
But Josh from the gym over at Onnit, Jesus Josh. He's
come
always
on,
like,
Jesus Josh, shout out Jesus
yeah,
Josh.
Yeah, shout out Jesus Josh, great guy.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him at the gym.
Dude, everybody in town knows that.
Yeah,
fool.
right, yeah, not
He's
just
got
at the
his hand
gym.
in everything, bro.
Yeah, honestly
Yeah.
though, because he's always inviting me to like a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you doing all this stuff? And then he's killing it at the gym too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But he's always like, Gomez, you should do an hour at Kill Tony, or not an hour, a minute. Do a
minute.
minute at Kill Tony. Do a minute at Kill Tony.
Do
I'm like,
you-
what does that even mean?
Oh, so you have no idea?
Yeah. I'm like, do a
Okay,
minute
all right.
of what?
Yeah. So what it is, it's a stand-up podcast, or it's a podcast that is stand-up based. It's so any open mic. It's kind of like an open mic that's run by professional comedians. So Tony Hinchcliffe,
Yeah,
Brian
I've seen
Redman.
Shane Gillis on like the
On the
looks like
panel?
they have like a panel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Shane's been. I mean, Adam Ray, Rogan's been on a bunch of times.
Oh, no
It's
way.
A bunch of people.
Okay.
But what it is, it's an open mic. Open micers or comedians or whoever gets to put their name in a bucket. They sign up, put their name in a bucket. Tony pulls names out of the bucket. You come up and you do 1 minute of stand up, and then there's an interview afterwards. And dude, it's so hard to be funny in 1 minute.
Yeah.
And you see it every
I bet.
fucking
Yeah, I bet
single
people
night,
flop,
dude.
That sucks. And then,
It's the
like,
best. I
do
think it's great.
I feel like for sure,
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah.
yeah. And then I feel like clips I've seen on like Instagram. Now the panel, do they like roast them afterwards, or are they give them pretty good like constructive criticism?
It's both, man.
Both?
It's
Yeah.
both. Some people, if you come up unprepared or like you come up and say, I didn't think I was gonna get picked tonight, you're fucking gonna get blasted.
Yeah.
You are. You're just gonna you're wasting other people's time.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah, be ready to. I mean, that's like. Did you ever play baseball?
Yeah, dude. So that's the thing that we've never talked about. I played baseball since I was 4. I've actually played baseball longer than I've been a musician.
No way.
Swear to God.
I knew
dude.
I mean, I see the Dodger hat. Unfortunately, it's a Dodger hat.
That's
but-
all right, dude. That's all right. Hey, they're gonna pull it out,
And they're
dude.
going to San Diego tonight.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So
Game 3.
this is, we're talking about baseball now, but did you hear that at Petco Park, they're not letting any Dodger? Why is that, dude?
You know what? I don't know if
What's
San Diego has like an ordinance on that, because there's a very famous golf course there called Torrey Pines, and as a resident, it's like $50 to play. Because I think it's actually like a city-owned like municipal course, but it just happens to be they've hosted like majors there.
No shit.
Yeah, like big time, like Tiger Woods tournament guy.
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's a big time course out there.
Is it on the tour? Is it on the
Yes.
PGA Tour?
Yeah. Torrey Pines is a very like actively played PGA course. But like I said, as a resident, last time I checked, this was years ago. The prices have probably changed with inflation.
Yeah.
But it was like $50 as a resident, and then like $200 as a non-resident.
For everybody else.
Yeah, and I'm always like, man, I know I have some family out there somewhere.
Yeah, you have to have like your ID has to
think
have the
so,
zip
yeah.
code and shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they were saying. If you want to buy a ticket, your ID needs to have a San Diego zip code.
That's
you
wild.
can't. They don't want, dude. It's gonna be so crazy.
Have you ever been to Petco? The stadium in
I've
San
been
Diego?
out. So at the end of 2020, my ex-fiance and my best friend and his girl, we took a road trip out. We were just going through national parks, and our final destination was Joshua Tree in San Diego.
Oh, sick.
And we were there, and the Astros were playing. It was like
wow.
it was like the end of the playoffs or something like
Okay.
that. The Astros were playing San Diego.
Okay.
There was nobody in the park. I went in just to
2020?
get 2020. Man.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
So
nobody in the
it
park.
was the year the Dodgers won.
Yeah.
With nobody in the crowds at these stadiums.
They had the paper cutouts, cardboard
Yes,
people.
dude.
Yeah.
Yes, in the crowd that looked like people were there. Why do that? The wildest thing.
I don't know.
It was
and
so
I think they
weird.
even played crowd noise over the
They
speakers.
did, dude.
Yeah.
It's super loud, which
I guess
is
like
so
a level
fucking
of comfort
weird.
for the players, just so because it is weird. Like if you play, because I've played in like some of the spring training stadiums.
Yeah.
Which are bigger than any high school or college field I've played on. But they're obviously still not as big as a pro stadium. But like it just sounds weird, like the echoing in the stands, like the emptiness of it.
Yeah.
It's still at that level. Like I'm sure it doesn't bother them that much.
Yeah.
But it's probably just a comfort thing, or maybe even a TV thing. Like
I'm sure
the low
I'm
roar
sure
of
it's
the
a
crowd.
TV. Yeah.
But dude, Petco is probably my second favorite modern stadium behind San Francisco.
Yeah,
San Francisco
Oracle.
Stadium's gorgeous. Yeah, Oracle is
Yeah,
gorgeous.
which used to be AT&T Park a couple years ago. And
you know your stuff.
But I'm telling you, bro. I get to tour. I get to tour playing music a lot. Every city that has a major league team, I try and go to the stadium and I get a hat. That's like my souvenir.
That's bad. That's because that's like I'm not touring.
Yeah.
But every time I go to a city that has a team, I try to go to a game because I'm trying to mark off all the stadiums. Unfortunately, I have to go back to Atlanta because they just opened a new stadium within the last few years.
Did you in New York? Did you ever see the original Yankee Stadium?
No.
I never got to do it either.
That's such a bummer because it's such like hollowed grounds. Like it's so the history of the game. But I have been to Fenway, and I'm a huge Cubs fan, so I've been to Wrigley a couple times.
I've been to both as well.
It's like there's something about being in a stadium that Babe Ruth played in.
Dude.
You're like, you look at that batter's box, you're like, Babe Ruth stood there.
Absolutely. The vibes are different though too.
Yeah.
Like
especially those two stadiums.
The pillars, like if you
sit
stand
behind them.
bro, if you say yes, dude, and it actually tells you if you go on SeatGeek or Game Time or any of those apps, like it'll show you where you're sitting. The pillars right in front of like the pitcher or it's a different vibe than these new stadiums. It's crazy. But the feeling,
you feel like you're on top of the players, especially at Fenway.
Absolutely.
Fenway had such a crackerjack feel to it, like because it's very much like in the middle of like a cool bar scene.
Yeah.
But with the high wall, with the monster in left, high bleachers in right, you feel like you're in a box. And now the first time I went to Wrigley, very similar feel as far as like how close you are to the field. But when I first walked up, I remember looking out over this was before they had like the big billboards and
in the back.
Yeah, in the outfield, and like jumbotrons and stuff, because those are all pretty modern.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
The first time I went there, it was like 2012, maybe 2013.
Okay.
And you walk up and you could see out into like Michigan, like it was just so clear, like it felt very open.
Yeah.
Whereas in Fenway, you felt like you were in a box.
Yeah.
Which was cool, like both cool, but like both very intimate settings for like the players.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And both of them are in bar scene areas. Like Wrigleyville's amazing.
Yeah,
dude.
great bar scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just the vibe in general, dude.
Yeah.
Outside the stadium, and then you go in, and then now you're secluded in this old box.
Yeah.
You know, it felt. I don't know. It was vibrant.
Yeah.
But it was an old vibrant.
Yeah, it's easy to romanticize about baseball because like the lore and the history about it all. Like
dude.
me, especially as a Cubs fan, so I went when they won the World Series in Wild
2017,
Story. 2016.
Dude. Or yeah.
I have a tattoo on my ribs.
Really?
Yeah, dead ass. Yeah, the date they won the World Series. It's in Roman numerals and then it's outlined in brick and ivy.
No, that's fucking.
Dude, I'm a huge.
So are
fan.
you from Chicago?
No, funny story. I grew up in LA, but my dad was from Colombia, South America.
Yeah.
So baseball wasn't huge then. It's kind of coming up now. You see a couple guys in the bigs. But he didn't really know anything about baseball. And then when I started playing, my mom grew up a big Dodgers fan, but she never really like implemented it on us. She never really talked about baseball or anything around the house. But I started playing at 8 years old. Like I remember, I'm pretty sure I was like climbing. I was in a tree. My mom comes out in the backyard. She's like reading the newspaper, like, "Hey, the local little league like needs more players. Do you want to try out for baseball?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." Yeah. But like I said, I didn't know anything then. We were pretty poor, so we didn't really have any like TV channels. But my dad's friend was living with us at the time, and he was from Chicago, and he gave me a deck of cards.
Yeah.
And they were all Cubs players.
No
and so
shit.
those are the only players I knew. I mean, you knew who Ken Griffey was,
right?
And maybe Randy Johnson at that time, but maybe that was just because my brother was a Mariners fan.
Yeah.
But
Randy was still in Seattle. It was before he moved to Arizona.
Oh yeah, because he went Seattle and then Houston for like a weekend, and then
what?
And then Arizona. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Very very briefly with the Astros after Seattle. Yeah.
What years? Is Bagwell and Biggio era?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this was 90s for sure.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, very wild. Yeah, so I just grew up. Those are players I knew, like Mark
Yeah.
Gray, Sean Dunston, Sammy Sosa, huge Sammy Sosa
Yeah,
fan. But yeah, those are my guys.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
Joe Girardi is the catcher.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, shit, before he became the coach for the Yankees?
Before he became a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
But so sorry, but we kind of bounced around a little bit.
No,
there.
yeah,
The reason
absolutely.
I brought up baseball was because as a pinch hitter, or even any bench player,
Yeah.
like you have to be ready to play. So
You have to.
like bring it back to the Kill Tony thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be ready to play, even if you're not in the starting lineup. Like you have to warm up like you are.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine, like, if I were to do a minute on Kill Tony, or even sign up to do it, which I have no idea if I would. You got to go like thinking like you're gonna do it, because you don't want to go hoping you're not going to, because like nerves or whatever, and be like, oh, I tried and I didn't make it. It's like you can't have that attitude.
The amount of people that do that, though, it's insane. It's insane. Yeah.
Wow, that's
But it's also nerve-wracking, dude. A lot of these people that
for
come
sure.
up have never done stand-up in their life, but they're fans of the show,
Yeah.
which is cool. You know, that's cool to come, like, the balls on them to come up and do that.
Absolutely.
Especially now, where, like, millions of people watch now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy
you know you're gonna
to
get,
me, dude.
especially like if you really bomb and like
Oh,
the panel lays into
the
you.
fucking
like, you
world
know you're
knows
gonna
you
go
now.
viral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough way to go viral.
Oh, absolutely. But then you have guys like Hans Kim and like the guys who've been doing it for a long time that are, I mean, they're the pros of the pros.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, William, Cam, they're Ari Maddie's a new guy.
Okay.
You know, all these guys are incredible too. So it's a mix of beginner open mics that have never done stand-up, and then guys who have been doing it for a couple years. And then you have people that come up and they've been doing it for 12. They were like, you've been doing it for 12 years?
You're still this
You
bad?
gotta stop.
Yeah.
You gotta
Retire,
stop.
man. Hang 'em
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
So
I get that.
it's a whole fucking mixture of everything.
Nuts.
And
I bet you
everything
see
is
some cool stuff.
dude. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's my favorite gig, to be honest with you. I pretty
No
much tell
way.
everybody that. Yeah, so when I was a kid, my dad introduced me to stand up when I was probably like 8 or 10. And it started with Richard Pryor and Robin Williams.
yeah.
So it's like I was listening to the top of the top comedy, like probably I shouldn't have been listening to it.
Not at that age.
Nah, but it was fucking awesome. That's probably why I curse so much.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This is a PG podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Nah, fuck it, we're here, dude. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Yeah. But so like those were my introductions to stand up.
Yeah.
And then Eddie Murphy and Dane Cook and all those guys after that, and I was like,
Dane
whoa.
Cook had a pretty steep fall off, huh?
He had some trouble with his brother. His
Oh, I didn't know
brother
that.
stole all his money.
No.
Dude, it's a crazy
way.
story. I won't tell it, but that's
Sure,
like
yeah,
the
yeah, I'll
main.
have to
That's
look
like
into
the
that.
look it up. It's
Yeah.
wild, man. His brother stole
got
like
shysted
by
your own
family.
blood.
Yeah, that's a tough thing.
That is tough.
Yeah, but he was in arena act before a lot of people were.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he
well,
was one
yeah,
of the
big
first
time.
people like playing Madison Square Garden. Vicious Circle, I think, is
Getting
the
into
one
some
that.
big movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superstar, man.
Yeah.
Superstar.
He was like main actor in some movies. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wonder because like it's not ever like I would watch it occasionally. Again, didn't really like grow up with like cable or like internet really.
Yeah.
So like I didn't follow it too closely. So like I would see it when I'd see it, and I knew that like Dane Cook was a big name and obviously
Yep.
coming out in some movies. But like whatever happened when it happened, I had no idea. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess he's just not funny anymore. Like I don't see him on
Dude,
movies or
he's
anything.
hilarious, bro.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah.
People that are that funny, they don't just stop being funny.
Dude,
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy could come out of retirement now and fucking obliterate everybody.
I'm sure.
He's just some people like Dave Chappelle's that way.
I was gonna
Bill
say, yeah, you
Burr's
look at
that way.
Chappelle, like, yeah, he's stepped away for a little while and then came back, and
Absolutely.
he's the hottest comedian still. I remember the first live stand-up I ever saw was the first big show back in Vegas after COVID, and
What show is it?
it was Rogan and Chappelle
Oh, together.
together.
You did were they at the T-Mobile Arena? Or what
No, I
was
want
it?
to say they might have been at MSG. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little inebriated.
In Vegas?
In Vegas, it was in Vegas. Yeah.
MSG, is that the MGM Grand?
Or maybe it was MGM Grand. Yeah. MGM Grand,
Well,
yeah.
MSG does have, so they own the Sphere. I don't know if you knew
Oh, I
that.
didn't
So
know that.
MSG has some other stuff
Okay.
that they own as well.
Okay, I didn't know that. But unbeknownst to anybody,
Yeah.
I forget the name of the comedian. He was on Chappelle show for a long time.
Is Donnell?
Yes.
Yeah, Donnell
he
rocks.
opened up.
Bro,
and then-
Donnell's a fucking freak. I love that dude. He's
was
so
funny.
funny, dude.
Yeah, he was really funny.
So funny.
But then after that was Tom Segura.
Yeah.
And everyone like freaked out, like, oh, Tom's, because they didn't, like I said, nobody knew.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I thought he was the funniest out of everyone.
Tom is
Segura.
great, bro.
Hilarious.
Tom's amazing.
Yeah, me and my buddy Tim went. and just had a blast, man. We were walking everywhere, just eating our faces off.
That's the one. So I hate Vegas,
Yeah.
but the one thing I love about it is the food.
Dude, I only go for food and fights.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Like, I feel, and I've never been to Miami, not yet, but I feel like I have a similar vibe, whereas in like, you go, it's really fun, but by day 3, like you're broke, you're hungover, you're sunburned. You're like, I'm ready to go home. Yeah, like, I'm ready to go home. So that's how I always feel about Vegas. So yeah, the only times I ever really go now are for fights, and then I always like try to scope the food scene. Like they have like Giordano's Pizza, they have In-N-Out, they have like stuff from everywhere that like comes there. And then I found this awesome little place. It's literally called Batista's Hole in the Wall. It's like this old, like previously mafia-owned Italian restaurant. It's like right, like a block off the strip, kind of by the Ferris wheel. Like if you come a little bit further in a different direction. And I kid you not, dude, on the side of it, it's like a gas station. But it's called Batista's Hole in the Wall. Really good, like family-style Italian plates, like big-ass plates. And it's like $35. But the cool thing was, I mean, all of it's cool. Really cool vibe. Because like I said, it feels like it's like still mafia-owned. And,
I bet.
But they have all-you-can-drink wine.
What? They just keep giving you glasses?
Yes. Yeah, like how most restaurants like bring around water. They'll ask you red or white.
Fuck?
Yeah,
That's
they bring
crazy.
casks of wine, and then you ask them for a to-go cup, fill it up with wine, and it's Vegas. You can walk around with a big old styrofoam cup full of wine.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, Vegas, you can walk around and drink. I think I don't know if there's other places you can do that. Maybe
New
Miami.
Orleans, you can do it in
that
New
makes
Orleans.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that gives that kind of vibe. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can walk around, and so. The first time I ever went to Vegas, I was like 17, and we went for New Year's. My family from Colombia used to come up, and we'd go to Vegas for New Year's.
That's crazy,
dude. They block off all the roads that lead up to the Strip, and it's like 300,000 people block party, and people just walk around getting hammered.
No fucking way, dude. That sounds insane.
Yeah,
especially
I've done that
there
twice.
too.
Yeah, and the second
And you did that
time-
when you were 17?
Yeah, when I was 17. And what's cool is like,
What the fuck?
I remember sitting at a slot machine at 17, and I'm just ripping this thing, and
Nobody came up to you?
no, A, nobody came up to me, but B, with my when I was with my family from Colombia, I was like, hey, if anyone comes up,
just act like
tell
you
them
don't
I don't speak English.
Perfect.
Yeah, because their accents were heavy. And so like if I faked an accent, it probably wouldn't be as good as theirs. And so I was like, yeah, just tell them I don't speak English. But nobody ever came up to us. And then the second time I did New Year's in Vegas, I was probably like 27, 28. So did a little proper. Then actually, that was the very first time I went to a UFC fight.
Where was it?
In Vegas. It was at it was before the T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah.
I don't remember, to be honest with you, but it was when Ronda Rousey fought Amanda Nunes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then also on that card was Cody Garbrandt beating up Dominic Cruz. And that's like when he like starts him and starts like breakdancing and like pointing at him. Dude, it was wild. And everyone's like, who's like, because that was when Garbrandt beat Cruz for the title.
Yeah. That was a title fight?
It was a title fight.
Damn.
And he's just putting on a masterclass of boxing. Like his striking looked elite.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's like literally, he'd like drop him and then like hit like a little breakdance move and like point at him and stuff. Like just talking
the fucking
trash.
swag, son.
Yeah. Cody Garbrandt had some swag for sure. The throat tat, like Cody Garbrandt killed it. And then TJ Dillashaw was on that card too. Fought John Lineker earlier. It was a sick card.
Yeah.
But it also happened to be like New Year's weekend, so I stayed there for New Year's. Really funny. I flew in a lady friend of mine, and but I went there with a different lady, and I don't know if I really want to tell this story on the podcast.
Come on, let's do it.
I bought tickets to a Bruno Mars concert.
That's funny.
And then I was like, I don't want to go to a Bruno Mars concert. Like I don't really like Bruno Mars. I know, but dude, I didn't.
Was this before like? Well, how old are you right now?
No, I'm 37 now.
Oh,
I just turned 37.
Yeah, he was fucking huge.
He was huge. Yeah, he was a huge name. It was Vegas, New Year's. Bruno
This
Mars.
This was that sounds like the Hooligans era, which is it's like I'd catch a grenade for you.
It was.
It's that whole era.
It was what was that Gorilla song he had?
It's Gorilla.
Yeah, you and me, baby, making
Fun.
love like gorillas. Yeah.
Fucking like gorillas.
Yeah.
That's the actual lyric, I think.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, man, I just have such like a wild experience in Vegas. And then like we went for my mom's birthday one year, and like I said, it's always the food scene.
Yeah.
Like the food scene what I go for. And now I want to go and check out some golf.
Love it.
Yeah. 'Cause there's some sick courses out there.
Okay, so we were staying. We just Kill Tony just had a show at Resorts World 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Oh, sick.
So we
stayed.
stayed.
You were just out there. Let's get into that a little bit.
It was great, man. It was fucking awesome. That's how I know. I just like, man, every time I go to Vegas, I just want to fucking leave. So we played the show. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
That vibe in there, the theater's amazing. Dude, okay, so we get there, we're walking around kind of checking out the theater. I see who's coming after us. So it's like Kill Tony. 2 days later, Bert Kreischer's doing 2 shows, sold out back to back. The day after that, it's Hans Zimmer doing all of his famous movie scores, fucking from Superman to Interstellar, like all of it. He's doing it all. A couple days after that, Carrie Underwood's coming back for her her residency.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's Janet Jackson. You're like, wait, what? We're playing the fucking same theater as all these people?
Wow.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy. And I'm fans of all those people.
For
bro.
sure.
It's nuts. And then I think when Celine Dion, when she did the Olympics, I think she announced that she's coming back and doing a residency.
Nice.
Guess where it's gonna be? There.
That's
at
sick.
at that theater.
No way.
Bro.
And you got to play there.
Dude, I got to sing there, bro.
You sang?
I sang. I swear to
That's
God.
sick.
Yeah, I sang "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins.
Oh no!
And
Did
I
you
got
do drums while you were singing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you have a video of that?
I do have a video of that.
I got to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's probably the most.
It's the greatest
drum
fill.
Drum song. Yeah, exactly.
It's the most iconic drum fill of all time. Anywhere you go, you start singing that, baby. Like, oh, yeah, Phil Collins. Dude, and it's so funny because that's like in movies. So it's in The Hangover.
The Hangover, yeah.
And we like when we were planning on doing this, like it didn't, that's not why we did it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, we're going to fucking Vegas. Mike Tyson does that shit in The Hangover. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
In Vegas. Yeah.
In Vegas. It's all happening. So.
It's all happening.
Yeah, right. And we didn't even fucking plan it. So
Yeah.
my sister takes a video. And when that part comes up, I walk, like I'm singing, I'm walking around the stage doing all this shit. And then after that, I sing the second verse from the drum set.
Yeah.
I sit down and I do the whole thing, and it goes into the big choruses at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I kid you not, 20 people in the crowd are like, it was the craziest. And when I'm up there, you can't really see, it's dark, but you see from the audience perspective and everybody doing that shit with you.
Yeah.
And that's not, obviously, Phil is Phil Collins and Prince are my favorite artists of all time.
Oh wow.
All time.
Interesting choices.
Both almost from the same era too.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
So
they both had their prime in the 80s.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They're both drummers too.
Oh, I didn't know Prince was a drummer.
Yeah. On his second record, not the first record, but the second record, it's the blue record with, it's just entitled Prince.
Okay.
He's got the fucking flowing hair, just like this, looking at it. So he plays every instrument on that record, including drums.
No way.
And though, like,
I didn't know that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You got go back and listen and just every
and
instrument.
appreciate it.
It's awesome, bro.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Especially because, everyone knows him for his voice. I didn't really know him
for
the instruments.
His fucking guitar playing. He's one of
Yeah.
the best guitar players ever lived, as well.
Yeah. Right.
Songwriters, guitar. It's insane.
Performers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because that's an art too, man. I've been to shows, and very rarely, very, very rarely, we go to a show and you're like, okay, this guy can sing or write songs or whatever, but it's like, man, he's not a very good entertainer.
Yeah.
Like they're not owning the crowd.
Some would say George is kind of like George Strait. It's like he commands with his voice.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like this huge entertainer thing. He's
not sweating his ass off, running up and down the.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about him, his swag, like either playing guitar or just singing right there, and you're there to hear the music and to, watch.
George Strait.
George Strait.
Yeah, the king.
Yeah. The fucking king of country.
Have you ever been to Green Dance Hall?
I played there.
You played there
a bunch of times, dude.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Do you ever still play there, or have you outgrown that?
No, you
never outgrow
You
Green?
never outgrow Green.
Yeah, dude. What a historic venue.
It's amazing. It's
Dude, next time
fucking
you play
hot
there,
in there.
you gotta let me. Oh, I bet.
There's no air conditioning.
It's like a 100-year-old building.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta let me know next time you play there. 'Cause
I would love to.
My family's in New Braunfels, which is literally like a stone's throw to Green.
Yeah.
Like you don't drive to Green from New Braunfels and never see like a gap in like the town.
Right. It's
like a
just it's
suburb.
connected. Pretty much.
And Green is so cool. I love Green. There was one time during COVID because my little sister moved out to New Braunfels, 2016.
Yeah.
And we stayed in Albuquerque. She came out here, but during COVID we came out to visit her because New Mexico was so shut down, and Texas was still thriving. Not thriving, but like alive.
Open.
Open. Yeah, open. Dude, people don't, and I think I've told the story before, but people don't realize New Mexico is the third most mandated state during COVID.
What?
Yeah, but it's such a small population state. Like it wasn't on the news, you know what I mean? But like people were talking about like L.A., Chicago, New York.
Yeah,
it was, I think it was ahead of L.A., but behind New York and Chicago as far as like mandates go.
That's insane, man.
Yeah, like if you were like walking your dog, you had to wear a mask. If you were on a
outside.
If you're on a public golf course, yeah.
Wild, son.
So we came out, and we, for whatever reason, I think it was Mother's Day. Yeah, Mother's Day. My family got a cottage like on the river in New Braunfels. They rented that, and then my girlfriend and myself, we got an Airbnb, or not Airbnb, a bed and breakfast. I always say bread. Bed and breakfast in Green.
Yeah.
And it was just like such like a cute little like romantic. We're out there like, you know, like we'd go for like our morning run like around the little town. I'm like, man, this is Green's awesome. Dope. And I think that was probably like honestly the beginning of the seed of like, why don't I live out here? And then I came back for Thanksgiving of COVID because my little sister didn't want to go back to Albuquerque, so I came out here to visit, and she took me to Zilker for the first time. And I saw hundreds of people out there just living their life. And I kid you not, dude, it felt like a different country. Yeah. Coming from New Mexico, I was like, I feel like I just came to visit America.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, New Mexico was rough, dude. And then the crappy part was, they would tell you like rat on your neighbors. Like if
fuck that,
at Thanksgiving, if you see more than like 4 cars at your neighbor's house, call the cops. Like they were literally telling people to do that.
To tattletale.
Yep. And so it's just turning people on each other. It was the worst thing. And meanwhile, the governor's like out getting her hair done and buying jewelry. Like everything's supposed to be closed.
Same as everybody, all the other fucking politicians and governors that were running all these states, bro. All of them, dude. They're all fucking trash.
But that's sick. You play Green Dance.
Yeah, dude.
Because that's such, to me, that's like, have you ever played Billy Bob's?
Fort Worth? Okay, so I was supposed to last year with an artist named Miles Miller. We were gonna open up for he's the drummer for Sturgill Simpson.
Oh,
so he's actually in town right now. He's
Is he for ACL?
Yeah. He played on Sunday. He's incredible musician, incredible songwriter. He's back on the drums with Sturgill. I was touring when he was doing his own thing. We were gonna open up for he still did the show.
Yeah.
I was gonna do the show New Year's Eve, opening for Turnpike, sold out, Billy Bob's, and then Kill Tony gets the HEB Center 2 nights in a row.
Oh man.
So I was like, that's my thing.
Sure.
So I ended up doing those shows.
A sweet gig. You can't really be like,
you can't.
Because Billy Bob's is, I kind of, and I haven't been to Billy Bob's, but I kind of think of it in that same, kind of like Green Dance Hall, where like some really cool artists have come through before a lot of people knew them.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. And there's a Billy Bob's in San Antonio as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't know which one came first. I'm not really sure.
The one in Fort Worth is like, because it's right next to the Stockyards.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like the more famous venue, if you will. Like one of the fighters I trained just fought there.
At Billy Bob's?
At Billy Bob's on a Thursday night.
That's weird.
Yeah, September 19th. Yeah, I know. I didn't even know they hosted fights there.
Didn't know that either. I think that may be a new thing, because I've only ever heard or seen music there.
Yeah, and I don't, even talking to Andrew, have you ever met Andrew Craig, the head MMA coach from 10th Planet?
I have not.
He was the first episode I had.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, a good friend of mine.
I saw the picture then. I
former
know.
UFC fighter, head coach at 10th Planet, and then he also works for Tim Kennedy.
Sick.
Just an elite guy. Super cool, super hilarious, super funny guy.
Yeah. A lot of fighters are funny, dude.
Dude, I know.
They just have stories, man. They just shoot the shit with the boys all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's why, and I've kind of talked about this, but I think that's why I like fighters the most, because they tend to come from like pretty like rough backgrounds. That's why some of them like tend to be really lighthearted or really funny, because like, and kind of like myself, people are like, oh, you're so nice, and like I told Carl from the gym.
Of course I know Carl.
Yeah, Carl.
Everybody knows Carl.
Bro. Yeah. And I remember talking to Carl and kind of telling him my story, because I was homeless as a child. When I was living in LA, I was homeless as a child and went to my earliest memories are of being a homeless kid living in
LA.
In LA. Yeah, we went to the Dora Hope. It was a Christian homeless shelter in Pasadena.
Shit,
yeah, or maybe I think it was in Pasadena.
Yeah. One of the worst cities to be fucking homeless in, dude.
Yeah, because it's a big money city. Like there's like the Orange Bowl's there. But anyway, so I get into that.
The Orange Bowl or the Rose Bowl?
Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's the Rose Bowl. Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. My mom would kill me
Dang,
if I said that.
dude.
Mom,
the Orange Bowl is in Florida.
Yeah, Orange Bowl in Florida.
Yeah.
The Rose Bowl, and they have the parade of roses, and my mom loves that. Like we never miss it.
I bet.
Because she grew up out there.
2005, that's when Vince Young takes
at the Rose Bowl
UT. Yeah, that's
for
right.
the Natty. Yeah.
Dude, we about to run it back this
I
year,
know.
dude. I'm
It
so
looks like
excited.
It looks like it.
Georgia lost, Bama lost, fucking all these teams that were fucking talking shit on us.
Yeah.
Alabama moves up 1 after that win against Georgia, and then they fucking lose to Vandy,
Vanderbilt. Dude. Yeah, thank you, Vanderbilt. Yeah, much
Sick.
applause.
Yeah.
For the.
I do not.
Commodores.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt.
I
Commodores.
I do not like Alabama
Fair enough.
or Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're dude. First year in the SEC, we about to fucking run shit.
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
telling
sick.
you, dude.
But yeah, so anyway, I was telling Carl all of this, and then because it was right around the time I believe his dad passed away.
Okay.
And so I was telling him the story about because I hate when I shouldn't say I hate, but I don't like when people bring up their trauma to like when someone's going hard, like, oh, like I went through that. It's different for everyone. Like I don't ever try to compare my issues with other people's issues.
It's like trauma bonding a little bit.
Yeah, but also like I don't like when people like try to like it almost feels like people like try to one up you like with what they've gone
all
through
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was talking to Carl about it, and I was like, man, like I was kind of like being like, hey, I'm not trying to like take away from what you're going through right now, but just know if you need to talk to someone, like my dad passed away when I was 21. I was home from college, and he literally took his last breaths in my arms because he had a heart attack. So like technically the last breaths that were in his lungs I put there because I did CPR on him.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah, I did CPR on my dad when he passed away. That was a tough one. I definitely feel like I went into shock for a little while because I was like so numb to it.
I
just went into like go mode. I was like, I quit playing college baseball. Like I stopped. And in fact, when we were in the emergency room, we were in like a waiting room, and I was there with my dad. This was the only part that I like truly wish I could change about everything was my little sister was there, and I was like, fuck. Dude,
with
like,
you?
why? Yeah, and it was like 2 days before her 13th birthday.
Yeah,
it was a Friday. Like she was supposed to have friends over that night, and that's the part where I was like, God, I wish she wasn't there because I could have handled it all. Like I could have done it all. Like I wish she wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting in the waiting room. All of my brothers, my sisters get there. My mom gets there. Everyone's like kind of like hoping for the best. But I knew. Like I was like, I would have cried if the doctor came in and said he was alive. Yeah. But he came in and the doctor was very, very good. They're like, he was trying to get a little bit of like the story of what happened. And then he's like, well, unfortunately, like, he didn't make it.
Yeah.
And that's when everyone like lost their shit. And I was sitting there, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, like, I just kind of went numb to it for a while. But it's one of those things like, I feel like I tend to bond better with people that come from tougher backgrounds. Like I don't know if it's like I see them at a level that other people haven't seen them. Because I have friends that, and not a knock on them, but they've come from very good backgrounds, and they've had, they've been financially well off their entire lives. And as much as like I can be friends with them, like I'm like, yeah, cool, we're good buddies. But like I think when you
a deeper level of connection.
I always see like the damage in me sees the damage in you kind of thing. Like and that's why I tend to feel like I get along with fighters better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they come from that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, but
that's tough, man.
Yeah,
Holy
but like
shit.
you look at guys like Andrew and Dallas and all those guys, like, man, they're so nice, and like no matter like what, like me, like that's what Carl was saying. He's like, man, looking at you, Nick, I would have never been able to tell. And I was like, that's the point.
Yeah, for sure. You're not
like,
walking
I wear
around
my
with
heart
shit.
on my sleeve for sure. Like I'm a very emotional guy. I cried during commercials, like heartfelt, like
me too, bro.
Like like the starving dogs and the Humane Society. I'm like, nope, change the channel.
Yeah.
So I definitely wear my heart on my sleeve, but I don't. It doesn't define me. Like I'm not walking around like, hey, I'm hurt, let me tell you my story. It's like, no, like if my story can help you, and honestly, that was the whole reason I wanted to get into a podcast. Yeah. Was like, if my story can help anyone, I don't care if I do 20 episodes and this podcast fizzles out, but if someone hears my story and they see like, oh, this guy was homeless, super poor, his dad passed away, he quit playing college baseball, he got divorced, all these things, if my story can help anybody, then it's worth it. Like I'm not here to like
absolutely
get rich off of it. If it happens, cool. Awesome. Yeah. But man, I'm like the whole reason I'm a strength coach. I'm here to help people. Yeah. And so if like getting my story out there can help people, and like, because I always say this, I'm like, if I would have seen my story at 10 years old, it would have made life easier.
Of course, dude.
Because I mean, like, oh, there is a goal. There is light. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Because dude, growing up the way I grew up, like, I've always felt like I did not deserve anything. Like I did not deserve a nice car. I did not deserve to date the pretty girl. I did not deserve to have a nice house because I just didn't have it. And in movies, it's like, you could want to be Aladdin all you want, but he had to find a genie.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I was like, oh man, like I was a street rat. Yeah. But I was like, I want to come up on that, and it was one of those things where I was like, if I could hear that story at that age, Absolutely. Like that, if I can help anybody, like that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to
I
get
love
my
it.
story out there and other people's stories out there because so many people have stories that can help people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah, the whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing.
Dude, fucking thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
crazy.
Dude, I'm an open book. So one of my best friends, David Freeze, who you've met at the gym,
Yeah,
the baseball player.
absolutely.
And it's so funny that we're like, honestly, he's my best friend in Texas without a doubt. But it's funny because he's a Cardinal and amazing Cardinal.
Yeah.
And I'm a Cubs fan, so I hated him when he was a player.
I fucking bet, dude.
Yeah, and now, like I said, it's so funny. Like I said, you
Now
have those
y'all
moments where
homies.
you're playing these stadiums and you're playing these arenas. You're in Madison Square Garden. You're playing all these venues, and you're thinking like, damn, I've been here. Dude, I went to St. Louis with Freeze. It was Freeze, me, Andrew Craig, and Dallas. We all went out there, and we're golfing at this amazing golf course that Freeze is a member at.
Dude.
And we were having a good time, taking our time, and Freeze was like, hey, I'm going to just run up to the tee box behind us and let these guys know that they can play through.
Yeah.
And he goes up there, and it's 4 of not only the best baseball players in the game, but 4 of the best baseball players for the Phillies because they're in town to play the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was JT Realmuto, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber.
When Trey was still playing with them, because he doesn't play with them.
No, he's still with the Phillies.
Oh,
he's not with the Dodgers anymore.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he was with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
He's with the Phillies now. Kyle Schwarber, who I love because I'm a big Cubs fan. He had epic moments with the Cubs.
Absolutely.
And I can't remember the other guy, but he's like, man, yeah, this is so and so up at the tee box. I was like, no fucking way.
Can we go meet him?
Yeah, no, but me, like, because I always try to play it cool, and also like I've gotten to the point, not by no means am I above anything, but like working with like John Jones and Cowboy.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool, but I'm not gonna go fangirl. As much as I would have
1000%.
loved to have met Kyle Schwarber, I'm like, I'm not going to go out to the middle of the fairway. He's trying to hit a pitch.
Kyle,
Wait, I have a Cubs tattoo.
Yeah.
But it was one of those moments, and then we went to the Cardinals game.
Yeah.
Because Freeze had an event at the game, and we're literally sitting in the owner's seats, like
Sick, dude.
first row, right next to the first base dugout, like field level, the owner's seat. Like we're sitting next to, I believe, the wife of the owner of the Cardinals. And it's one of those moments, like you're talking about, like the guys that are playing in the arena after you. I'm sitting there, I'm like, if you would have told broke ass, poor, homeless Nick Gomez that he'd be doing this with David Freeze, wild.
You wouldn't believe.
Yeah. But it's like, again, it's just, man, for me, I'm always like, God is good. Like he has put me in so many good situations, and it's about handling those situations the right way and being prepared.
Yeah.
Like I said, being prepared for those situations, because you get your shot at the limelight, and if you're ready, then it's the right thing to do. But if you're not ready, then man, it's tough.
I think that's why I work so hard, man. It's the discipline of it, dude. Like that's my nightmare.
Yeah.
If an opportunity comes and I'm not prepared for it. Fuck that. Specifically with music.
Oh yeah.
Specifically.
But you take that approach everywhere.
I try to.
And dude, I see you in the gym, and I see you with like the Onnit Run Club, and I'm like, motherfucker, this guy's just killing it everywhere.
I love it, man. I love it so much. It's doing that fucking first thing in the morning where you do the hardest thing of the day, like that. It puts your mind. It puts my mind at ease, so that way, like I'm focused now, dude.
Yeah.
I
rest
did
of the
the
day's
hard
gonna be
shit.
a breeze.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that when Rogan said that, I was like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
100%.
It makes sense.
It makes fucking perfect sense,
Yeah.
dude. So I and everybody at the gym there is like pushes each other.
Yeah.
At Onnit.
Yeah.
Like we push each other.
Oh, dude,
It's
it's such a
amazing,
community.
man.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
this. Have you met Austin, the artist that did the Rhino logo?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Gemini.
Yeah.
I had him on last week, and that's a big thing we were talking about. I was like, the community at Onnit is, I say this, and it sounds cliche, but second to none, and I truly mean that.
Bro, I've toured all over the United States. I've been to so many different gyms. I've done it all.
Yeah.
Nothing compares to Onnit Gym.
Yeah.
Community, fucking the quality of
yeah.
workouts and strength training, and dude, what Larry and Juan and all these guys are doing here, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
Yeah, you know
There's
what's so
nothing better.
wild? So I won't like point out any names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But one of our coaches took a friend of his over to Collective in town just to like kind of give him a tour, just like show him around town.
Yeah, just hang.
Because his buddy owns a gym back in their hometown.
Okay.
And so he came up to Austin. I think they're here for ACL. And he's like, well, let's go check out some other gyms. And so we brought him to Onnit, and then they took him over to Collective. And the dude at Collective, first of all, they didn't give him a tour, which is wild
Collective?
to me. At Collective. He's like, I can't give you a tour right now, but here's our prices if you want to look at that. And the prices are pretty, well, I think like $1,000 just to sign up.
No, it's definitely different. I have friends at Collective that are that I knew before Collective became what it is now.
Yeah.
So like when they first opened, when they didn't have anything in the gym.
Yeah.
This I've got a buddy Ryan who's a boxing coach there and conditioning coach and all that. I went to go take a couple classes to kind of check it out, and I love him. He's fucking great, dude.
You can have, dude, that's like me when I worked at Defined as a gym in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Like, you can have great coaches at like, gyms that don't like keep up, and those coaches tend to find the right spot to be. And I'm not saying
100%.
Collective's not there. I've actually never been to Collective.
It's
I know
dude,
it's a very aesthetic gym.
The facilities are great, man.
Yeah.
The people are cool. Actually, my sister or my cousin that we're called cousins, like, she's a family friend that's been a friend for a long time. Her and her little sister go there and they love it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that go there and really like it. And I know a lot of people at Onnit that have memberships at both. But
really? How the hell are you gonna have memberships at
What are you
both,
doing for a
bro?
living that you can
God
afford
damn.
both?
Holy shit, dude.
But so the wild part of all of that was the guy didn't even know who our coach was.
Yeah.
He didn't know because it wasn't like a big influencer coach. But he didn't even know who he was. But he's like, I think he saw that he was fit, saw that his buddy was fit. He's like, yeah, but if you guys really want some like good hard training, you should go to Onnit. The guy from Collective told him that.
That's really cool.
Really cool.
That's
really
dope
cool.
that
It's a
people can
reputation.
just be, that can, you know, from a different gym and be like, yo, man, like, you should go check out Onnit. Check to see what that is.
Yeah, because, and again, I've never been to Collective. I'm not going to, I don't know anybody. I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't think I know any of the coaches there.
Everybody who I've met, fucking awesome. Everybody's been cool.
The people that I know that are members at both, really cool. Like, again, I don't know anything about it, but to me, every time I see it online, it just, and I don't want to talk trash because
No, of course not.
But to me,
It's
it
just
kind
how
of looks
you
like an
feel.
influencer gym.
I think it is.
Because it's very aesthetic.
Dude,
it is beautiful.
So check this out. When Blink came, Blink 182, when Blink came, not last year, but the year before, Travis Barker is a huge, like, he takes care of his body. He fucking does Sonic cold plunge. When they were here the last time, he went to Collective to go do Sonic cold plunge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my buddy hit me up.
that.
He's like, dude, I'm in the fucking sauna with Travis Barker. Motherfucker, how come you ain't calling me, bro?
Yeah,
What the fuck? Like,
man.
I study this dude's music.
Right.
Like, I know his drum parts.
Yeah.
And you ain't even think to call.
Yeah, he's
Dude,
legendary.
I give him a fucking hard time about it. He's like, oh, dude, I didn't, you know. And he came in 3 times that whole weekend.
Oh, no way.
Like, bro, give him a motherfucker a call, bro.
That's funny. Like, I always, at Onnit, you always hear like podcasters are like, oh, Huberman was in there, or like other like guys were in there. And it was at Kuya, and then you're starting to see it more at Onnit.
Yeah.
Now that we've opened up our stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what's wild is like, does Travis Barker still fly?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he
know-
was like, I'm not flying anymore.
Well, for a long time he wasn't.
Yeah.
Dude, when Blink was doing tours across the pond, like when they would go to Europe and stuff, he'd take a boat. Like,
No way.
yeah, he doesn't fly. Like after
I mean, I
all
don't
this
blame
shit,
him.
that's great. I
Because
wouldn't
he
either.
was he the only guy that survived that crash?
I think he was. Out of everybody, he's
Tell
the
me
only.
God doesn't have a plan for you.
That's what dude, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now
You're the only person to survive that plane crash.
all of his best friends, man. Imagine that. That's why he's tattooed up.
Yeah, because
The
didn't he get a
scars.
lot of those burned off? Because he was pretty tatted up before, and then got like significant burns in that crash, didn't he?
Well, dude, his whole body was like jet fuel, like literally on fire.
God, and he lived.
Yeah.
Even through, if say he survived the crash, even through like the potential of infection with that level of burn, because the threat of infection when you get a burn is high.
Really?
Oh yeah, super high. So that's why you see guys that are like wrapped head to toe or whatever. Like, well, yeah, when you get a burn, I forget what the why that is, but you have a significantly high chance of getting an infection when you get a burn.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild story.
I know. Yeah. He's an incredible
met
human, man. No, dude, and he's here again, and I still haven't met him.
Well,
one day, dude, I'm getting close to meeting a lot of my favorite drummers, man.
Yeah,
I'm getting
that's what
close.
happened with me in fighting.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
and now
like,
you
it
fucking
just-
work with the fucking biggest guys.
And it's been one of those things where it's like I've gotten a chance to meet these guys.
Yeah.
Even because of my background with fighting and the people I've worked with, I got to meet Rogan.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, because he was coming in on it. He was training with John Wolf, and man, we had some coaches. We had another coach that was trying to get a podcast going at that time, and I don't think he handled himself very well when Rogan came in because he was kind of like following him around.
Oh, he was being like a fangirl.
like a puppy.
Rogan
and, like,
does not do well with that shit.
dude.
Or
I can't imagine.
no,
I
even
can't
more
ima-
now.
Yeah.
Even more now.
I can't imagine.
Good luck.
So he would come in, and this was back when the sports performance area was strictly for private training, and Rogan would go back there and they'd just block it off for everyone. They'd like film a lot of it for like Onnit content. But he came in. We had an intern that at this time I was working front desk, and because I was waiting for like coaching spots to open, because this was right after COVID. And
Oh, what year was this?
21.
Did I come in 21 or did I come in 22?
I want to say you were in 22.
Yeah, January of 22. That's
Yeah.
when I came in then.
So 2021, I come in. They see my resume and everything, but there's just no coaching spots open because
Right.
I mean we're at like 100 members at this time.
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
Everybody dipped, yeah.
Yeah, and also like we were very private. Like we didn't have open gym at that time.
Right.
Sports
Even-
Performance was only private training. So again, very like small membership wise. But so waiting for coaching spots to open up, they're like, hey, we can get you in the front of the house, and when spots open up, we'll start to fill you in. I'm like, absolutely.
Easy.
Like kind of get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
And watch what I do with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm sitting up there, I'm folding towels, and we have this intern who's like helping me fold towels, and he's just like staring at Rogan in the lobby, waiting because Rogan was getting a smoothie. And I'm like, I told him, I was like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
It was making me uncomfortable. And I was like, dude, stop. And then literally like 2 seconds later, did you ever meet John Wolf?
I have. I've said hello to him.
Yeah.
I've never met him.
One of the-
He's come in a couple times and
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, him, very much, most, like a lot of Juan, him, and then a guy named Shane Hines are like the 3 pillars that hold up on it.
Yeah.
And John Wolf's a great dude. I definitely consider him a bit of a mentor.
I
But
actually
anyway,
did before I joined Onnit. I did Onnit 6 with. I did John's program.
Okay.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
Juan's unconventional gym program. I did Eric's kettlebell 8-week program, and I did Onnit 6 before I even. I was like,
way.
I need to mentally prep myself
Yeah.
up here and my body before I step into that gym. I
Sick.
did all 3.
That's a good approach.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was worthy just yet because we
Yeah.
were coming off of COVID and I was
Yeah.
running and I was kind of like battling an injury. And Juan's program actually helped me rehabilitate, like with
strengthen.
strength
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But that was my mentality before I even walked into that
That's
gym.
sick.
Yeah.
That's it. Freeze was the same way. He was doing Onnit 6 stuff before
I
he came
bet.
into Onnit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's a great. It's such a great program to
Yeah.
do if you're at home. We was doing this like when gyms weren't even, or when they were coming back.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to go anywhere. So my ex-fiance, my fiance at the time, we were going through this whole program.
Yeah.
And it was great. It
Yeah.
was great.
I'm in one of the videos.
Yeah, I know you are. You,
the
Juan,
water.
Yeah, the water bag.
The HydroCore.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm in the HydroCore video. That was fun to film.
I bet.
Good workout, like definitely a cool time. Carlisle was in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember if any other coaches were in there, but it was a sick time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so John, he's like, hey Nick, come over here and meet Joe real quick. I was
that's
like,
cool.
oh, sick.
Yeah.
And I go over there and we just get to chatting about fighters.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those things. It's like, man, like I've been put in front of these people, like, and it's just been such cool opportunities. And again, like, very nice guy, and standoffish at first, understandably. Like, if you're that level of celebrity, I mean, he's probably one of the most recognizable people in the world as far as celebrities go.
He's the #1 guy right now.
Yeah.
He's
the number one podcast in the world for sure.
Number 1 celebrity.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That is crazy,
Yeah.
especially because he's such a nice guy, and also like the way he started, like it's so crazy to think of how he started and where he is now.
I know.
Yeah, and I love watching him on UFC.
Yeah,
like
we all do. He's him and DC, like,
Yeah. Him
and
and
John,
DC are
John
funny.
Anik too.
John
like,
Anik, yeah.
Those guys, they're the. That's we watch for them as well.
They're great.
They're great.
They're
they
great
know
announcers.
They know everything, and they're
Yeah.
doing a play-by-play. And like, I'm not. Fighting is all new to me, too. Like within the last couple months, like I told you, I just started training with Shane.
yeah.
So I'm learning here and there, but listening to the level of detail that these guys just know what their next moves are, or like, oh man, he's got to get out of this. He's got to move his hip to do this.
Yeah.
And like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's inspiring.
Because
to
they've
do.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they know.
They know what it is.
I'm sure. Obviously, Anik knows the game really, really well. I don't know his training background. I don't know if he did, but I know like Rogan for sure trained, and then DC. DC is like I consider him kind of like the Joe Frazier of MMA.
Really?
Where like if it wasn't for Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
people probably really love and recognize Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've seen documentaries on it. 'Cause I used to watch a lot of ESPN Classic with my dad, like classic boxing.
Dang, dude, ESPN Classic.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so like
they don't have that anymore.
No, I don't think so.
No.
But they put the Rocky statue in Philadelphia, the statue of Rocky Balboa, and a lot of people are like, that should have been a Joe Frazier statue. And I get like it was mostly for the movie, but it's like so Cormier. If it wasn't for John Jones, Cormier is probably on the Mount Rushmore of fighters. Because he's elite, like all-time great for sure. Olympic, like wrestler, everything. Two division champ in light heavyweight and heavyweight, and just an absurd record. But it's one of those things. It's like if it wasn't for John Jones, you probably see Cormier in the talks of like GOAT. Yeah. If it wasn't for Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier's probably right up there as well. And so it's one of those things like you're just in the wrong era. It's like Colby Covington. If he wasn't in the Kamaru Usman era, Colby Covington probably has a title reign.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So yeah, just one of those things like he just came up at the wrong time.
Dude, that happens. Or just, I mean, also just a freak of nature like John. He just comes out and just destroys literally everybody.
Yeah, he was a force of nature, for sure.
And you got to work with him.
I got to work with him.
That's crazy.
Great dude. People ask me like, oh, how's John? Because you see what you see online, and through his own fault and all his own doings, like he knows that like people have a certain opinion about him because of what he's done. But like getting to meet him, like he's the son of a pastor. Like he had two brothers that are Super Bowl champs. He's actually the runt.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What
he had a brother win the Super Bowl with the Ravens against the 49ers, Arthur Jones.
Wow.
I think that's 2013.
Okay.
And then his little brother, actually I'm not sure age-wise, I don't know who falls where, but Chandler Jones won a Super Bowl with the Patriots.
Damn, so
and
just
Chandler Jones might be a
athletes.
Hall of Famer. Like you look at his career, like he's borderline Hall of Fame. He should still be playing, but I think he's got some stuff going on. But
so he comes from a family of just insane athletes.
Yeah, he's probably the least athletic of them. And I've made that joke with him before. I was like, you were the Jones brother that got picked last in dodgeball. And he laughs. He's like, damn, that one kind of hurt because it's true.
Damn, you got to him. You got to him.
Yeah, John,
cuts
dude,
deep.
What was wild was like, after the very first time I met him, because I remember I just started, the gym was called Performance Ranch in Albuquerque.
Okay.
And it was co-owned by Cowboy Cerrone, so we were affiliated with Onnit, because Cowboy was a big Onnit athlete at the time. And
is he on one of the banners?
No.
TJ Dillashaw is on the banner.
TJ Dillashaw is, he's on one of the banners, the old alpha male banner.
Yes, dude. Yeah, they still have it hanging. They took the other three. They took Rogan,
it was Rogan,
Tim Kennedy,
Michelle Watterson.
Yes, Michelle. Yeah.
And then for a while we had like Earl Thomas up there, but I think he had some very odd private things going on.
It wasn't private, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was everybody knew about that shit. Yeah. Well, he graduated from UT.
Right.
So when he was at UT, was he training at Onnit?
I'm not sure.
Like, what was the connection?
It might have just been like, hey, you're a UT athlete. I think he was coming in to train, not
during
while he was at UT, but like, in the off season.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not 100% sure. I never really asked too much about his relationship with Onnit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I started Performance Ranch. The owner, Lawrence Herrera, who like definitely a mentor. Any good part of me that's coaching, like I say I probably got it from him, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, very good coach, very like good person.
Mentor to you?
Mentored me for sure. Yeah. Lawrence Herrera. He even like talked me out of some like big decisions that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And fully supported me leaving for Austin and for Onnit. Like he was great.
Yeah. Well, that's how you know they're a good mentor, because they start to see, hey man, at some point you
spread your wings.
You have to.
Yeah, kick me out of the nest.
Yeah, and you did it on your own. So he was like, let's go, dude. Go do it.
Yeah, he fully supported it. He even reached out to John Wolf for me.
So he knows John too?
Oh, yeah. He would come out. So when Performance Ranch first opened, all of the coaches came out to Austin to do the foundation cert. And then through their affiliation with Onnit, Lawrence Herrera and John Wolf like definitely built like a friendship there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting there. Lawrence asked me, he's like, "Hey, this was John, his first fight back after a suspension, like a 2-year suspension." And he's
was
like,
that for the PEDs?
Yes, I believe that one was for the PEDs. And he's fighting. They're running it back against Alexander Gustafsson. And the first fight is, even though I don't know if Gustafsson's still active, John's still active, but that first fight, the first time they fought, instant classic, went into the Hall of Fame. Like it's a Hall of Fame fight.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, dude, it's a banger.
Yeah.
It's definitely the most damage John's taken in a fight.
Really?
Yeah. You can see at the end when they, because it goes to a decision, and you can see at the end when they announce John as a winner, he's like thrilled because it's tight. It's a tight fight, and he takes damage. Like it can be a tight fight. Like when he fought Dominic Reyes, it was a tight fight, but at no point was John ever in damage or in danger.
Yeah.
And I think in that fight, if you really break it down, I think John won rounds 3, 4, and 5. But more so the way he finished against Reyes, he finished like a champion, whereas in Reyes kind of really fizzled in the last couple rounds.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the Gustafsson fight.
Okay.
Instant classic. Go back and watch it if you can. But so he's getting ready to fight him for a second time, and it's going to be John's big return. And I'm like, oh, sick. And so Lawrence is like, hey, John's coming in. we're getting him ready for another fight. And this was like before like they announced anything. I was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'd love for you to like sit in and you know, kind of shadow and help out with the sessions. I'm like, say less, like I'm in. But I'd never met John before. And like I'd seen him around town, like at a couple restaurants, and
was he living there?
yeah, he lives there. He's full-time in Albuquerque, still is. He's committed
wild.
to his training for sure.
Yeah.
And he has his reputation outside the octagon, but no one ever doubts what John does in the octagon and during his training.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
He's the GOAT for a reason.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have an opinion on him. If anything, I was kind of probably more on the negative side of my thoughts about him.
Yeah.
And,
is it just because what you've heard outside
just because what
of
I've
the gym?
heard, and then and you know, all the news and all of that, and then like the few times I see him around town, not that he was ever like acting a fool or anything, but he's just so tall, and like I feel like both the times I saw him, he was dressed in all black. And I'm like, man, this guy just looks like a murderer.
Yeah.
And so like again, I wasn't like, oh, I don't like this guy, but I was definitely like, I was like, I don't know.
I should be scared of him.
Yeah.
I should be
He's got
scared
that
of
aura.
him.
He's very much has like a Darth Vader aura.
Yeah.
Where it's like he is the most powerful, but you also kind of like Darth Vader, like kind of like the anti-hero. You want to root for him.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting on an assault bike at the gym, and I'm watching John go through the warm up, and he keeps looking at me, and obviously I'm watching the whole situation because I'm a fly on the wall, and I want to be involved.
Yeah, of course.
And finally, and I kept the thing was, and Lawrence is such a goof, good dude, but he never introduced me and never said like, this is Nick, he's a new coach, he's going to be shadowing or working with us. And so I'm just sitting on the bike watching, and then John, like in the middle of doing like world's greatest stretch, he just like stands up and comes over to me. He's like, hey man, I'm John Jones, nice to meet you. And I'm like, hey, like I'm Nick. I was kind of waiting for Lawrence to introduce us, and Lawrence's like, oh shit, my bad. Like, yeah, this is Nick's new coach. He's gonna be helping out. And John's like, all right, cool, man. Glad to have you as part of the team. Blah blah. And ever since then, just an open book with me, telling me everything. Like just a great guy, telling me all of his stories and like sharing a lot with me.
I love it,
dude. Me too, because I was not expecting it. Especially like the first time I met Cowboy at Performance Ranch. And maybe it's because he was co-owner, but like just didn't really like talk to me that much and didn't really say anything.
He seems kind of that like introspective guy. I mean, not introspective, but like an introvert that kind of keeps to himself. He's a quiet dude. Comes to the gym, does his work, does his business, and then leaves. That, I mean, from what I've seen of him, just, you know. Also, I'm new to all this whole thing too.
Cowboy like is very much, man. I'm trying to think of like a good, like God, who was Val Kilmer's character? Doc Holliday in not Doc. Yeah, Doc Holliday in Tombstone.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I haven't seen that movie since fucking '98 or something.
Right,
since I was a kid.
Yeah, but that's Cowboy. Like he's a guy that like you're like, oh shit, that's Cowboy. But when you're in his inner circle, he's great.
Homie. Yeah,
he's great. Yeah. Like, cause I got to get into a good position with Cowboy where I was his head strength coach for a little while.
That's dope, man.
And this was during COVID, so I was going up to his ranch every day and training him up there for his second fight against Anthony Pettis. And I mean, at one point, we're like him and I like standing side by side making this big ass breakfast for a bunch of elite level high school wrestlers that came down from Chicago to train there through Cowboy's wrestling coach because it was COVID, so Chicago was way closed down.
Just come over here.
And so Izzy Style Wrestling. Izzy's the wrestling coach. He comes down and brings literally a bus of like elite high school wrestlers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so great work for Cowboy, great work for these kids, also great experience for these kids. But there's one morning, Cowboy like runs to it's Smith's grocery store in New Mexico, runs to the closest one in Edgewood, and then we come back to the ranch, and he has like this big flat iron, and we're just literally just making like a bunch of pancakes and eggs for all these high school wrestlers, and it's me and Cowboy on the griddle just like cooking it up, and I'm like, this is a cool moment.
Yeah.
And he always cool, like especially with like his sponsorship stuff. Like if I came in, I was like, hey, Cowboy, can I grab a Monster? He's like, help yourself, man. Like don't even ask.
Yeah.
And he had like freights of these like Monster, Budweiser, whatever. And he's like, yeah, take whatever you want, man. Like help yourself. And then he got in with Dan Bilzerian. And
my God.
Yeah, he has a company called Ignite. They make like CBD.
Oh,
and,
yeah. I've heard of that company.
Yeah, and Cowboy doesn't smoke, so he's like, yeah, here, take these pre-rolled joints from Ignite.
No shit.
Yeah, so he's again cool guy once you're in his inner circle.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I think John Jones is probably like the coolest fighter I've ever worked with.
That's sick.
Actually, probably Devin Clark. And what's funny is Devin Clark and John are good friends. They're like really good training partners.
Oh, they train together.
Yeah, both light heavyweights. Yeah. They both at the time were out of Jackson Wink. Great guys. But to be honest with you, I've worked with almost every fighter I've ever worked with has been really cool.
So dope.
Yeah, such cool people, and you would think the opposite because what they do.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, this guy's probably a hard ass. He's probably mean. I don't want to look at him the wrong way. But no, super cool. But
Dude, now that's funny that you say that because now that I'm in this like Rogan, Tony, all this group, a lot of fighters come, dude. I met Gordon Ryan the other day. He's
living legend in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, dude, there's nobody better.
Yeah, and probably ever. And he's still in his prime.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's wild.
He was at the show last night.
Yeah.
We was hanging out. He's like, yo, man, what's up? Like, you ready for the second show? I was like, yeah.
He's a big ass dude.
He's fucking huge.
Yeah, he's massive.
He's like a white gorilla, dude, because he has his hair all...
vanilla gorilla. So he trains with John Jones. He had gone out to Albuquerque a couple times for John's last camp. Now, John tore his pec, so the fight didn't make.
Okay.
But he had gone out to Albuquerque a couple times.
Incredible.
To train with John, because John is an elite level grappler.
Yeah.
He was a junior college national champ for Greco-Roman wrestling, and a lot of people don't know that about John. So it was really cool to see videos of Gordon Ryan, the greatest jiu-jitsu guy of all time, versus John Jones, who is, if you look at like takedown defense in the UFC, like he probably has, you know, some of the top numbers as far as like takedown defenses and takedowns. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's still the only guy that ever took down Daniel Cormier.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's because his levers. He's so long. He like I said, have you in a clinch and like pick your ankle at the same time.
He's kind of short, right?
Yeah, I think I've never met him, but I want.
When you see him standing next to Rogan, you're like,
and Rogan's like 5'7".
Rogan's like my height. Yeah. He's like an inch taller than me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he's like a little bit shorter than me when I met him, Rogan. Mm-hmm. But also talking about like guys that come through town at the mothership, comedy mothership, Rogan spot. Last week, GSP and Israel Adesanya were there.
Bro, I know. They didn't come on a Kill Tony. And Izzy loves fucking Kill Tony, dude. He loves Kill Tony. You know who
he didn't go?
No, he went on it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday night. Yeah, and I saw pictures. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, arguably, he's going to go down as one of the greats, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know, man.
Especially if he can come back and win the title.
You think he's going to come back?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to come back.
Is he not done yet?
No, I don't think Izzy's done yet. Cool. I think Izzy, honestly, probably has another...
couple years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he also hasn't taken a ton of damage. That's the thing you got to think about.
Right.
Like, he keeps himself in good shape. He stays ready. But he's never, like, other than when he lost the belt to Pereira, even when he lost the belt to Strickland, he didn't take a ton of damage.
Yeah.
But he's never really taken, like, big beatings. So... And you can tell by the way he talks. He's very sharp. He's very articulate.
Dude, he's super smart guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently he's super funny too. He's one
of those guys, like, I don't, and to be fair, I'm probably a bit of a homer because him and John Jones had beef for a while.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was like, man, I don't like Izzy because I'm boys with John.
John
I consider a friend for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, I've been in John's house. During COVID, we'd go to the top of his house and shoot bows. Like, I have some really
He's a
cool
bow hunter
pictures.
too?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I think he's sponsored by PSE, or at least he was at one point. Sponsored by PSE bows.
That's crazy.
He had to get a custom bow because he has the longest reach in UFC history.
Really?
John does, yeah. So he had to get a custom bow from PSE, and
the poundage on his wings.
Thuds.
Oh, I fucking bet.
I shoot my bow from the top of his house like pew, and his is like boom, 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 just thumping the target.
What is he shooting? Like a 90-pound bow or something like that?
Dude, it's something wild.
I fucking bet.
And then he also shoots heavy arrows.
How heavy? What's the grain?
Dude, honestly, I forget the measurements because it's been a while since I've shot bows. Like, I couldn't even tell you. I'm like, if we want to talk like weight of like a shaft on a drive, I can tell you that now.
Right. Because that's what you're doing.
On arrows, I don't remember.
That's what you're doing. Yeah.
But we shot. Do you know who Carlos Condit is?
I don't.
Carlos Condit is, man, if you want to go back and watch some like OG fights, watch Carlos Condit. He's a savage. His fight name was the Natural Born Killer.
Oh shit.
And a great guy. He's born and raised Albuquerque.
Damn, it's like Albuquerque fucking breeds.
Albuquerque breeds tough motherfuckers, dude.
Well, you were telling me that Albuquerque's like it's a tough place.
It's a very violent city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if I'm not mistaken, New Mexico's like 48th in the country in violent crimes, maybe 49th.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, it's wild, and it's a bummer because geographically it's very pretty.
It is.
As we were talking about earlier, the mountains, and then you get outside of like Albuquerque, either a little south or north, like you're saying in Taos. Beautiful.
Yep.
Gorgeous mountains and trees and just the freshest air. And
it is.
It's so nice because there's no big cities in New Mexico. Albuquerque, I think I looked it up not that long ago, and I want to say it had like 800,000 people.
Yeah.
And that's hands down the biggest city in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, you just have really, really like beautiful skies, fresh air, great town, but tough people come from Albuquerque. So Condit, OG in the game, has put on some of the greatest fights. He was an interim champ at 170 for a while. Yeah. Great dude. I've met him on several occasions, but he would come and shoot bows with us, but he would shoot a longbow.
Like a recurve?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude. And he was nasty with it. We had these turkeys, these like rubber turkeys in John's backyard. And John had like a pretty good sized backyard. So we're looking at maybe like a 40, 50 yard shot.
Yeah.
And dude, he put an arrow right through the neck on one of these turkeys with a recurve. It was just.
No sight, no nothing. Just fucking.
Yeah. He's like, when you say natural born killer, like this is a guy that's just. Like he's probably really good at throwing knives and like
just everything.
Yeah, he's like he's just lethal all around. And then
yeah.
John's like that too. John has gotten really into like tactical shooting. And then I don't know if you've ever like seen, but he has this dog that's trained. His name's Dutch.
No.
He got the dog when I was working with him. And
what type of dog is it?
Dude, it looks like, I forget the breed, but it's meant for this. It looks like a German Shepherd build, but it's like all black and with like red highlights. Dude,
just a killer.
It's just a killer, and John posts these videos of it training, and like it's a tack dog. And so it's like you look at John, and it's like, man, he might be one of like the deadliest people on the planet.
Yeah.
You think about, because he's a very good shot with a bow, a very good shot with a pistol, a rifle. He's got an elite level attack dog, and hand to hand, he's the greatest to ever do it. Yeah. So it's like, man, John is a lethal individual.
That's incredible.
Super
man.
nice.
That's
Super
incredible.
nice.
I know, right? Well, when you're doing that all day, it's like, I've got all my aggression out. I've fucking done that. So you just go sit at a coffee shop and meet somebody who's, hey man, what's up? You would never know, other than his stature. But like you have a conversation with this guy, you're like, seem like a
great dude.
Sweet guy.
And he'd be likely to pay for your coffee.
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
Like he helped me out so much, dude. I mean, he kind of like Cowboy, like just very gracious with his sponsorships.
Yeah.
Like he was with, I forget, Pure Canna was the CBD company he was with, and they would just send him stuff, and he'd take out like what he wanted. It was like dog treats and a couple like tinctures and stuff like that, and then big ass box. He'd just like give it to. He's like,
there you go.
He'd tell the coach, he's like, yeah, take whatever you guys want. And it was
that's
like,
so dope,
sick.
dude.
And then the last camp that I worked with him was the Dominic Reyes fight right before COVID.
Yeah.
And which came in clutch. There was right before COVID, but since he was grinding and going through it, he's like, hey, I want my coaches like grinding too. He's like, so whoever loses the highest percent of their body fat percentage, I'll give $5,000.
Damn. So he put an incentive on the whole thing. So
he put an incentive in it, and it was so funny. I treated it like a fight camp, because you see some of his other coaches, they came out guns blazing, like swimming practice, mountain biking,
you're gonna fucking
striking. And I treated it like a fight camp, so I peaked at the right time, and I won it.
You won?
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah, I cashed the check, but I still have the check.
Oh, you have to?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so sick,
Yeah,
dude.
but and like I said, it came in so handy because it was right before COVID.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, no other fighter that I know has like done that. Like he's just so like such a caring guy, and he's very very like giving and gracious. Like John's a good dude. I have nothing but good things to say about my interactions with John.
Dude, that's crazy. Like every fighter that you've worked with or that you've talked about, or just even in this whole MMA like UFC thing, they're all just fucking good dudes.
They're just dudes. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we said, I mean, look, you've met Dallas.
No, that dude.
Perfect example.
Dallas and I fucking hit it off like that. He's like, yo, what's up, dude? How you doing? Like asking me about like what my life is.
Yeah.
And he also loves Kill Tony too, so we talk about that shit as well. And he was telling, he shares a little bit about his relationship. I shared about mine. So it's like, yo, that's a genuine friendship.
Yeah.
A genuine connection.
Yeah. Dallas is someone that I very much like care about and consider like a very good friend too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out to Dallas.
Shout out Dallas Dodd.
My G.
Yeah, future champ, former 170 champ at the amateur level for Fury.
Love it.
Yeah, I won the belt and I was like, I'm going pro. I was like, hell yeah.
Good for him.
Which is like
man.
the natural path. I think Cade's next on that.
Yeah.
For Dory. We talked about him.
Yeah. He's at the mother. Dude, all these guys are Dory guys at the mothership.
Funny, yeah. And they're all killers.
I know.
You look at like the guy, because Shane Keefe, shout out Shane Keefe. He's a security guard at the Comedy Mothership. And even Andrew Craig, who trains actively with Tim Kennedy and he's been at Jackson Wink, he's been at ATT, he's been at like the biggest camps.
All these,
And he's like, Shane's elite. Shane's on the right path. Like Shane's that dude. He's heading that way. Yeah. And it's like, dude, I kid you not. Like Shane, Dallas, Cade, Sean Magnus.
Dude, Sean, another guy.
I think all those guys have UFC potential. Those names
awesome.
I just dropped, I really do think they have UFC, especially considering some of the guys I've worked with and some of the guys that I've worked with that have been in the UFC.
Yeah.
I'm like, these guys have UFC potential.
It's incredible, man, and they're all fucking cool, dude. They shoot the shit so hard after Monday nights at Kill Tony. Like one night I had finished tearing down my drums and I'm putting stuff away, and I'm coming back into Mitzi's, and these guys are fucking grappling on the floor of the mothership. Doors are closed. There's like 10 guys are fucking doing all this shit, like training with each other.
They're probably like showing each other stuff. He's like, oh yeah, so hold it here, get in here, and then you want to do this.
Yeah,
because they'll do that in strength training. I'm like, guys, hey, focus up.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like grappling in the middle of sports performance, but it's all like instructional. Is really funny,
they're showing like, yo, dude, check this out, I just learned this, or like, and then some of them are like, yeah, fuck you can't take me down.
Yeah. Dude, and with, again, coming from, for a while, we were the official strength and conditioning team for Jackson Wink.
Okay.
And so we trained a lot of their guys, especially a lot of their younger guys coming up.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I don't know if I've been around an MMA team that's this close, as far as like legitimate friends and like legitimately caring about people. The thing about Jackson Wink is so many people were coming and going. It's such a big camp. They had dorms that were in there in the gym. Yeah.
So people are living there.
People are living
like
there.
Breathing, like living and breathing, fucking fighting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Those dorms were disgusting.
Oh, dude, fuck that.
Yeah, so nasty. Yeah.
No way, dude.
Nasty creatures. But the guys that are here at 10th Planet, like they're all from here. And so
Austin?
they're all, like Cade grew up in Austin. Dallas grew up in Austin. Sean's from Alaska. Sean Magnus.
Yeah.
That's why he's the Winter Soldier. He's nasty. He's a different level of grappling. He's like Russian level grappling.
That's awesome. He's also built like a fucking brick shit house too, dude. He's fucking thick.
Yeah.
Strong.
Shane came from NorCal.
Okay.
But like you look at the core of the MMA team, and they're Texas, and it's like they're all genuinely good friends. Like I guarantee you, Dallas looks at Cade like a little brother.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and same with, and like Andrew and Kyle look at Dallas like a little brother. Like they all genuinely care about each other. Like I've been to like cookouts at their houses.
Yeah.
Like we've celebrated birthdays together. We've watched big fights together.
Yeah.
Like it's a very tight knit group, and they're dude, it's the sauce, man. They're a special group of guys. And
yeah.
They're going places. They're making waves, and it's really cool to be a small part of, but also to get to witness.
Dude, I'm just meeting these guys for the first time. Like I've spent a couple, nights or sessions with Shane, and then nights at the mothership with Sean and all like Cade and all these guys. And you're like, yo, they're fucking good dudes, and they fucking work hard, bro. Yeah, that's the shit. And then you surround yourself with all these guys, and then you start to put that discipline into everything that you do.
Yeah,
that's it.
Dude, we all went to. Speaking of Madison Square Garden, which you are very familiar with.
I wouldn't say very familiar with, but I got it.
I got it. That Mike built. Yeah. Like Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built. But yeah, we'll call Madison Square Garden the home that Mike built.
Let's do it.
We all went there. Dude, it was just such a great experience. And again, so fortunate to know the people I know. But it was Shane, Cade, Dallas, me, Kyle, Andrew, Freeze, all went to Madison Square Garden last year to watch fights.
Fuck.
And that was supposed to be the big fight for John Jones coming back when he tore his pec.
Okay.
It was still, dude, I mean, I shit you not, the entire main card, fight-wise, not like commercial breaks and stuff, but fight-wise, I think lasted less than 25 minutes.
Because people were just knocking people out left
there were
and right.
so many first-round, like, knockouts, submissions, like, everything was happening. It was bangers. Damn. And it was when Pereira beat Yuri Prochazka for the title, and then before that...
Was that the head kick?
No, that was the second one. They ran it back. That was the second one.
Yeah.
And then the co-main event was the interim heavyweight title between Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich. I probably butchered that pronunciation. But the whole card was just bangers, and it's like, man, such a cool experience just to be in. Like I was taken aback just by being in Madison Square Garden. So I can't imagine actually being in there and playing.
Dude. It was a different feeling, man. I will say the first night.
Think of the epic moments that have happened in there.
Epic.
Yeah.
Epic, dude.
And you're backstage. You're in the mix.
Our green room was the Rangers locker room.
Oh,
they put us in a fucking locker room. Yeah.
That's
it was
sick.
cool. Yeah, and they actually they were in the playoffs they were in contention to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing, but we were in there. That was our green room, their locker room. Mm-hmm.
That's sick, dude.
It was really fucking cool in that atmosphere in there.
Yeah, and you guys, how many shows did you do there?
We did two. Two sold out shows back to back, Friday,
Selling
Saturday.
out the Garden. That's
Twice.
like such a, you hear about like rappers or whoever literally bragging about selling out the Garden. Mm-hmm. You're doing that, and you...
Tony, Red Band, like fucking the whole band, Matt, John D's, D Madness, Groove Line Horns, like we're it's a family, bro.
That's sick.
That's why, like, Tony has brought all like this whole genius package, and we all work together. The reason why it works so well is because everybody knows their role, and everybody does their thing or tries to do their thing at the highest level. Yeah, and it fucking works, man.
Yeah.
He's a genius, dude.
That's sick. So what's next?
See, what's next?
What's next for you, and what's next for Kill Tony?
So what's next for Kill Tony? We have the New Year's Eve shows at the end of the year. HEB Center, we're running it back.
That's not the Moody Center?
No,
That's
the
different?
Moody Center's downtown on campus.
I'm so like out of the scene and it bugs me because did you go to Slipknot recently?
I fucking did, dude.
Dude,
I got
saw
to
that
meet
and I'm
Eloy
like, how do I
Casagrande.
not know like this show's coming to town? They're very high on my bucket list.
Bro.
Them, Seven Dust Corn. I recently saw Tool. We talked about that at the gym.
I was there at that show at the Moody.
Last summer, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. I was there.
Yeah,
I was
such
there.
a sick show.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, and luckily, I'm so grateful for my friendship with David Freeze, because he really because he's a huge musician fan in general.
Well, what? Because he's a guitar player.
Yeah. And he
dude,
dabbles
awesome.
with the drums too.
He plays drums too?
Yeah, he's got
Bro,
a
what
kid
the
at his
fuck?
house.
Like, what?
Yeah, I know. You guys need to hang out. We need to get this set up.
Dude.
But
Also, I told him the other day, I was like, bro, bring your glove. I want to throw with you.
Yeah.
That's
I've thrown with him before. That was a moment.
I
'Cause
bet.
He went to play in a Hall of Fame game to represent the Cardinals in Canton. And he's like, hey, man, you want to go throw? And we were out behind Onnit, just hucking the pill, bro. I was like, fuck, I'm playing catch with David Freeze right now.
That's crazy, dude.
And I'm trying not to, like, airmail him.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Or like overthrow him or throw him a one hop on a
skipping one
fucking
on the cement.
Dude, no way.
Luckily,
no
he's got
way.
some mitts on him. But
That's awesome, man.
I'm on so many different levels. Am I grateful for our friendship? But like before I went to that Tool concert, man, he's like giving me like an education on him. He's like, dude, the drummer is this. He's like,
Danny
he's got
Carey?
a double major in music theory, and then he's like, it's arguably the 4 greatest musicians that are alive right now.
It's definitely they're up there, man.
Yeah. And then like, because I didn't realize. Because I was a big Tool fan in like the late 90s when they were like a little more heavy metal. And some of their stuff that has come out since like the early 2000s is very, I don't want to say jam band because I don't want to be like, oh, they're like the Grateful Dead or Fish.
Definitely not.
Yeah, but they
like
have
that.
a lot of like stuff without lyrics, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of like jams.
Yeah.
And so I go to the show and they have these visuals in the background and they're
yeah.
just jamming out with like, again, not a ton of lyrics and stuff. And I'm like, even though I don't know the song they're playing now, this is amazing. And I love that the drummer's like the star of the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was in his full UT kit for
Dude.
basketball.
Well, he does that at every show that he plays.
He played college basketball?
I don't think
Someone told me that.
He might have played college ball. I think he went to Kansas, if I'm not mistaken.
He's tall.
He's from Kansas.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he went there or he's a huge huge athlete.
Okay.
Yeah, or was, when he was younger.
Sure.
But he loves basketball.
Yeah, he was legit wearing a full UT basketball
Shorts,
uniform.
fucking literally the whole uniform.
And just
He
blowing
threw down.
your mind with
Bro,
the drums.
So I knew Danny before, like I've seen a bunch of videos of him playing, but that wasn't something that I was studying.
Yeah.
I was just into a bunch of different shit. And my buddy Sean Nix, he's Tom Segura's photographer and personal trainer.
Oh shit.
He's become a really good friend of mine. Shout out Sean.
Nice.
He texted me. He's like, "Yo, dude, Tom and I were supposed to go to Tool tonight, but he can't make it. He's at the mothership tonight. Do you want to take his ticket?" Fuck yes.
Yeah, say less.
So and keep in mind, dude, I've never heard a Tool song in my life. I just know Danny Carey.
No way.
Just from drum.
Whoa.
Just drum. Ever, dude, from last year. He takes me. We're sitting.
mind blown.
I was mind blown.
Yeah,
bro.
because I'm not even that. I'm not nowhere near the fan of music that you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it, but I credit my big brother. Shout out, big brother.
Yeah.
He was like a big Tool head. So
That's awesome.
that's what I got. I mean, I've been listening to Tool since like fucking '97.
I was listening to a bunch of different shit. My dad was like the intro to all my music stuff. He was a DJ
No
before
way.
I was born.
Yeah. I was gonna say, how'd you get in music?
So
Through your dad?
Yeah, pretty much, man. Like he was a country music and Tejano DJ in the Rio Grande Valley, bro.
Lit. That is sick.
Bro, he's good at it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
but he
badass.
was showing me like a bunch of country music and Earth, Wind and Fire and Michael Jackson, Chicago, 70s and
best.
80s. And the best, bro.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
So that's what I was listening to growing up.
Gotcha.
And then my brother hipped me to Green Day and like this like
Older brother?
Yeah, I've got an older brother. His name's Abel.
Nice. Shout out Abel.
Shout out Abel. He was hipping me to a bunch of different shit, and I didn't like. I found out so much of the rock genre, like alternative, all this shit. I didn't find out till I was in college or last year for
Yeah,
Tool.
yeah.
So I didn't have anybody like feeding me this shit.
Okay.
Like I just became a metalhead, bro. Like all
That's
this shit is so
wild.
new to me, dude.
That's wild.
Yeah, and now I'm experiencing these shows and fucking seeing Lamb of God and Slipknot and Five Finger Death Punch, like
Yeah.
all these heavy.
I would love to see Slipknot, man. 9 guys on stage just killing it.
Dude, And Eloy Casagrange, the dude who took over for Jay Weinberg, probably the best metal drummer in the world.
No way.
The ferocity that he plays with, bro, like you feel he's moving the air, bro.
Yeah, that's sick.
And he's fucking
that's sick.
like going dude. The technical ability that this guy has is like you sitting there watching John Jones choke somebody out.
Yeah, right.
It's like what
the
what
work
the
that
fuck
has gone into that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's sick.
Absolutely. And he's played like that since he was 14, bro. Just guys that are just touched by God in a different way, dude.
Yeah. Do I remember the first time? In fact, maybe the only time, but definitely the first time I saw you play, Anton's, and you guys were doing a bunch. I don't remember the name of the group.
Was it Peterson Brothers? Did you come to a Peterson Brothers show?
I don't know, but you guys were covering a bunch. You guys were doing a bunch of like Outkast.
It was the Peterson Brothers.
Yeah. I was like, are they doing Outkast?
Yeah,
I love Outkast.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fucking sick. And I went there with a bunch of guys from Onnit, and they're like, hey, Mike's playing at Anton's, and I didn't know that Anton's was also like a pretty historic venue.
That one isn't. That's like a newer version, but it used to be on West 5th. So on the like closer towards Lavaca and Guadalupe, like in that area.
Okay.
Yeah. That's like the original.
Dude, so you've played like not only like sick venues, but I mean you were on the CMAs too, right?
With Keith Urban, yeah.
With Keith Urban, you were on stage with Keith Urban. I remember seeing the pictures with like the big screen in the background and shit, and you're just shredding on the drums.
It was crazy, dude. I did 2 big. Well, I've done 6 shows with Keith on percussion. I wasn't playing.
What?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, that was
from the land down under. Keith Urban.
Fuck yeah, dude. It was incredible, man.
Dude, that's nuts.
That whole thing came out from nothing, to be honest with you. It was Carlos Sosa, who's the saxophone player in Groove Line Horse. He's the saxophone player in the Kill Tony band.
Okay.
A friend of his, like 20 years, like just known in the entertainment industry. She just became Keith Urban's tour manager at the beginning of this year or somewhere around that. Keith's coming to play the CMTs here at Austin at the Moody Center. And she calls him and was like, hey, Carlos, like we're looking for a guitar player, like acoustic guitar, mandolin, 2 singers, and a percussionist. So Keith's looking to do this like kind of like Santana like mixture of all this stuff. So funny enough, he doesn't think of me. He was like, man, he recommend, or he's thinking about a couple other guys. And we're playing that night at Seaboys at 11 with Groove Line horns, and I walk in with all my congas and fucking percussion gear, and he looks at me, he goes, what the fuck? Like, it goes like that, and I was like, yeah, it hits him, right? And I'm like, what's up, dude? He's like, dude, I'm sorry, like, I should have asked you. And I'm like, wait, what? He goes, do you want to play percussion with Keith Urban? And I go, yeah. Let me I'm free, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, it was crazy out of nowhere. And he recommended Matt for guitar and a bunch of other people. So he sends him the names. And he texts me a little bit later. He's like, yo, I'm talking to the MD. He's like looking at your Instagram. He's like impressed with you, whatever. And Pete, who's the MD, he's like kind of an athlete too. He's a cyclist. He works out, takes care of his body. So he was looking at all the shit that we were doing at Onnit. And he was like, okay, cool. Like he has the shit outside of music, and he also does this. And it turns out, bro, I'm the only one out of the 5 people that he recommended that got the call.
No way.
Pete ends up calling me on the Saturday before we play, and we have like a 20, 30-minute conversation about just life and what I've been doing and what he's been doing, and then we start talking about the music. And then so he's explaining to me that the whole thing is, this might be like inside baseball or whatever, but we can talk about it, I guess. He's like, yo, you have a pretty important role. Your drums, your percussion, and Keith's guitar, vocals, and Terrence's drums are the only things that's going to be pumping through. You are playing live, so I need you to nail this.
Nice.
And I'm like, fuck.
That's cool.
All right, let's do it.
That's cool.
Yeah. He sends me the exact like percussion parts that he wants me to do. I transcribe everything, like I write it out and I memorize it. And so this is the only time I've ever actually done this, but I had my sisters and had some people come in and watch me run through, just so I have somebody there like, hey, all right, now it's the time, like if I have any mistakes or anything like that, I'll have a little bit of nerves because I don't really care about people who come to shows that I don't know.
Yeah.
But my family, it makes me feel a little bit different.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to have like some sort of a little audience in there to come watch me play. And I did it, and I did run-throughs here, boom, boom, boom. Like so many repetitions that when I got into that room, like it was gonna fucking be spot on.
Yeah. Hell
and it
yeah.
was, dude.
I love that.
I show up to sound check, and I actually got there with the crew.
Mm-hmm.
The band was flying in from Nashville. So I get there with the crew, start setting up all my shit, and I see like Little Big Towns on stage, and guess who they're doing a fucking tribute to? Phil Collins.
Oh,
At
no
a country
way.
show. And I'm like, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
They're singing
Is this real life?
Dude, it was crazy. And I was
Yeah.
I was just like watching Chester Thompson's video. So Chester Thompson was the drummer for Phil for a long, like he was his drummer in Genesis when Phil moved up to the vocal spot after Peter Gabriel left, and then when Phil did his solo project, Chester went with him. And there's a video on YouTube it's "Take Me Home" by Take Me Home because I don't remember.
Great song.
So exactly, fucking anthem.
Yeah.
So there's a video on YouTube it's just a drum cam of Chester playing the exact parts. No fills, no nothing, just fucking the parts that Phil wrote.
Yeah.
And you see it from top to bottom. And I had just a week ago, I was watching that and practicing that. And I get to the Moody Center, start setting them all my percussion, and they're playing that song.
Wow.
And it was just a weird thing. It was like, all right, thank you, because I'm supposed to be here.
Right. Yeah. That was your sign.
It was, dude.
I'm meant for this moment.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, all right, I'm comfortable now.
Yeah.
Like I was a little nervous.
Oh yeah.
And then that happened, and I'm singing, and everybody's like hanging out and meeting all the Keys crew, and it was perfect.
Surreal.
They put us all on stage. We start doing our whole thing. The band's not there yet.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of sound checking and doing all this shit. And I see Terrence walk in, and he sits down on the drums, and the guitar players coming in, and all these people. And Pete comes and we say, yo, what's up, dude? He starts playing, like sound checking, start playing the song, doing some, sound, ear levels and stuff like that. So we're playing through like maybe the first or second run through. And from the corner of my eye, I see Keith walk in from the corner of the stage. Because the way the setup is like this huge backdrop comes down, and it's in the shape of like a box. And through the corner, he walks in through the corner with his little opening, because that's where he's gonna come through to come like to his mic and do the whole thing. And I see him from the side, and I turn around, and we make eye contact right away.
Yeah.
And he makes a beeline directly to me. While we're playing, I take off my ear, and he goes, "What's up, Mike? Nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here." And I was like, what the fuck?
He knew your name. Yeah.
Crazy. He already knew. But
Wow.
he's that guy, bro. He's that guy.
Yeah, professional.
Professional.
Yeah.
Super nice to everybody. Takes care of his people. He didn't have to fucking come and say what's up to me, dude.
Yeah.
He did.
That's Freeze.
I bet.
Dude, because I remember
bet.
the very first time I golfed with him, every time we drove by someone, like a grounds crew person, that's just, to be, not talking shit or anything, but they probably don't speak English. They're out there like cleaning stuff. Every time Freeze waves to him, says, "Hey, how's it going?"
What's
nods.
up? Yeah.
And I remember telling him, I was like, "Man, I bet clubhouse attendants love you." He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, I took care of my people. Like, but that's him. Like he wants to know everyone's name at Onnit.
Yep.
He wants to talk to all the coaches. Like, that's the guy. Like, it's so professional. Yeah, dude, it's so sick.
But some people have that personality. A lot of people don't.
Some people don't. Yeah, most people don't. Yeah.
Well, that's what separates,
the greats.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes me think, going back to like that, when you're having that moment, you're like, oh, when they're playing Phil Collins, you're like, this is where I'm supposed to be. There's a Bible verse, and I'm probably gonna not say it great, but it's Esther 4:14.
Okay.
And it says, it's something along the lines of, perhaps this is the moment that I was born for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
When you're there, you're like, oh, this is exactly where I'm meant to be.
Bro.
Yeah.
And then so he comes and does that, and I'm like even more comfortable now. I'm in the zone. Everybody's playing now. He's playing, and you see him like working on his solo, because it's like it's a part that he wrote in the song, and every time he plays that solo.
Okay.
At least for this specific performance. So he's there, and he's running through, and he's like actually shedding, like practicing the shit. And I was like, dude, he's in fucking real deal,
Yeah.
And then so we start running through the songs, and we do the whole sound check, blind to everything. So we finish, and we walk back, and I see Terrence for the first time. Funny enough, Terrence and I are friends through the the telephone. Like we're homies through numbers from another homie. Put us in a group message. We
What a
said,
community.
"What's up?" Crazy.
Yeah.
We've never met before, and a mutual friend of ours put us in a group text. Was like, "Yo, what's up, man? What's up, man?" That was it.
Yeah.
We never texted again. And then the first time we meet, we're on stage playing together.
Badass.
And then we go backstage, and he was like, "Bro, what? Like, you might have fucked around, just got yourself a gig."
Yeah.
And then it turned out
And
like
then it did.
played 5 more shows after that.
Wow.
But after that performance, like it was live TV.
Yeah.
After that performance, bro, I don't think I ever felt more like I did that moment.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I got the call. I remember sitting in my shed,
Yeah.
transcribing everything. I remember every hour that I stood there and did the reps and fucking did all that, and then to nailing it in front of however many thousand people that were in the theater, and then people that were watching. It's like, yo, I fucking nailed that.
Yeah.
I hadn't had that feeling before. Like we're something from like a 0 to like 100, like the whole process.
Now,
And it was fucking awesome.
that is
It
amazing.
felt like, dude, I can do this for real.
Right. Yeah. I'm him.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Maybe not like that, but like,
but you know what I mean. Like,
I mean, but
I did it on the biggest level, and I nailed it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
really felt like that. And then Terrence came in, and like we're homies now.
Yeah.
Pete and I are like, we're homies.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was just on the phone with him like a week and a half ago, talking about like what they're doing. They're at the Fountain Blue right now in Vegas doing a residency.
Oh no way.
We're a
Residency's
couple
big
days
deal.
apart. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So now you said your dad obviously big in the music scene
Yes.
coming up.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time in your life where you thought music wasn't going to be it?
No. Even
I
when
love
I was a kid, bro. Like
Yeah.
I always knew I wanted to play drums. I had an affinity for rhythm when I was a kid. I know I was every time I could hear music, I would just hear that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen to the bass or
Oh,
like
no way.
chord progressions or anything like
Yeah.
that, and like vocals. Prince and Phil and everybody who I was listening to. That was the melody and the lyrics were something that
That's different.
it is different. There's
is
so many
different.
there's so many different parts of music that some people just attach to.
Yeah.
Like I could just hear it, and I wasn't able to do it physically, obviously, because I had never had the chance or doing any of that. But I could like hear
You
it
knew
and
it.
see it. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I just never had the opportunity because when I was a kid, I had so much energy. So much energy. Like my mom took me to the just on like a regular doctor checkup or whatever, and the doctor was like, yeah, he may need he may have this, he may need to go on medication
need
or
some
whatever.
medication,
My mom's
yeah.
like, fuck that, dude.
I'm not going
No.
to dull his shine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my dad was an athlete. He was a runner. My grandfather was a runner. So they just put me in sports.
Oh, perfect outlet.
Baseball was my first sport, like at 3 or 4 years old.
That's sick.
T-ball, and I just never stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Until like I got to college, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna do this. I'm too fucking short, dude.
And
There's no-
college is when I found out it wasn't for me either.
But you played
made the team,
But
yeah.
you played college ball.
did, yeah.
I never. I just so I figured out that I wasn't gonna be a professional
Yeah.
athlete, even though I loved it and I loved being out there and taking cuts and doing all that shit. I got my first drum set the summer of my junior year, going to senior year in high school.
That late?
That late, man. I was 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you would be like, I got my first drum set at 12.
No,
Is
dude.
what I thought you were going to say. Wow.
So I was playing sports throughout all
Yeah,
that time.
okay.
Yeah, I was on a like I played travel ball, like all year ball or year round ball.
Yeah.
And that like, that's all my friends. That's what we were doing.
Sure.
And I did, like I said, I didn't get my first kit until I was a senior.
That's
Yeah.
nuts. And
I
now
was
look
in
at you.
I was in middle school band. That's where I learned to read music. I was in high school band. I marched snare drum.
Yeah.
But
Not a full kit.
no.
Yeah.
None of that. I never had like that connection until I got the drum set.
Yeah.
Cause like I
And then
don't
you
want to
knew?
play timpani in a symphony. Like that's not my shit, dude.
Yeah.
I was listening to fucking backbeat like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to fucking Michael Jackson.
That's it.
Like Ndugu Chancellor playing Billie Jean. Like that's the
Yeah.
shit that I was listening to. I want to make people dance.
That's awesome.
So like when I'm playing timpani and fucking high school band, it's like this is not the
it.
shit.
It's not it.
It's not the shit I want to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
What's funny is like you talk about like hearing that music or like having an ear for it. Like there'll be times when I'm with Freeze at Onnit and and we'll talk about something. He's like, hey, you hear that? You hear how it's different? And
Yes,
I'm like,
dude.
no.
Yeah. So
I'm
he's got that. That's funny that he has that mind too. I love it.
Oh, dude, his mind it's dynamic. But it's one of those things where like that's probably the type of stuff that like kind of focuses him. Yeah, because he'll be like, you hear, and then like there'll be times like he'll catch me doing something, and he's like, see, you have rhythm, and I was like, oh, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I'm like, I'm just kind of like messing around, and but he'll be like, he's like, you hear that? You hear how it's like it's on this beat versus this beat, it's on this timing versus this time.
Dude, we gotta fucking hang, bro.
Yeah,
like he knows.
We need to set that up.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome, bro.
Well, cool, man. Let's tell the people where they can find you. And also what's next for you? Did we?
So just in life, like I'm doing a small run. Right. When does this come out?
This episode will probably come out in about a month.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, I want to record some episodes and then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So next for me, like I'm doing shows in town.
Yeah.
All the time. Like I play
all the time.
4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, that's sick.
Every week.
What about big out of town? What do you got?
Nothing for the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean closer to the end of the year.
But something
November
might pop up.
Maybe.
Okay. I'm unsure how like the gigs work.
You know, no, right. Well, towards the end of the year, like November and December, everybody kind of stops because it's the holidays.
Sure.
So not really doing anything big music-wise, just the normal stuff in town. But so High Rocks is coming up.
Oh yeah.
Ashley, Robert, and I have been training. We're doing
y'all gonna
doubles,
kill it.
bro.
I played pickleball with her this morning. Shout out Ashley Robert.
Shout out. What's up, dude? Yeah. So we've been training really hard for this, and I did it with Gino last year, or
he raves about how you did that. He's like he carried the team.
Well, he's not a runner though, and we didn't really train. If we would have actually gone out and like done some running and done some shit, like he's an athlete too.
Yeah, he's a good athlete.
He's a fucking athlete.
Didn't play any sports, but he's you can tell.
Like, he was a skater, bro. Did you know that?
Yeah. Because I used to skate too. Until
you've done everything.
I fucked myself up before baseball tryouts one year. And I was because I went to, they just opened up a skate park in Edgewood, New Mexico, just a dumpy. It was behind the fire station, and it had like a kinked rail, and I went to go hit like a board slide on it, and I don't know what, I don't know if my back truck caught it or what, but I ate shit. Luckily I had my hat on backwards, because I slapped my head on the ground.
Shit.
I probably would have split my shit open if I wasn't having my hat backwards. But I also nailed the side of my wrist on the concrete, and I tore some cartilage in here. And this was like my sophomore year of high school, and I'm like,
That's your glove hand?
Yeah.
So you were hitting all that pressure in here.
Yeah, and so I was like, I can't do this anymore, because I knew like baseball was gonna be my thing.
Yeah,
I was like, if I go to college, it's gonna be for baseball.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things. Like I love skating, dude. That's the one thing. Like if my mind drifts off to something, it's golf. It's skateboarding. I'll be like thinking about like flows, like hitting like rails and stuff, and I'm like, even this morning, I kid you not, because it was still dark out when we went to go play pickleball. We played at 7 in downtown Austin, and I drive by and I'm stopped at this light, and I look over. Beautiful, like, tall skyscraper, and I look down, and I'm like, that's probably about 14 steps. There's a rail on the side.
You're thinking like.
You ever meet Neen Williams?
Oh, bro, Neen's a friend of mine.
Neen's the dopest.
Neen and Phillip. Shout out NADC, bro.
Yeah, great burgers.
Neen is an incredible dude.
Yeah,
gets it in
fantastic guy. I gotta have him on the show.
You should.
He'd be down. He'd be down. I gotta hit him up.
He's incredible, bro.
Because he's always telling me like, hit me up when you come to Fort Worth. Hit me up when you come to Fort Worth, because my girlfriend lives in Fort Worth. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And so, but I shit you not, I was thinking about this morning. I was like, man, I wonder if Neen's ever hit that rail. I thought about that this morning, like, because I'll see stuff and I'll think about like skateboarding stuff.
Yeah.
I loved it, but I also I love surfing. I haven't done that a lot since I moved out of California, but it's one of those things. Like I think it's just the flow.
Like
the flow state of all like that. Because, I mean, I read this book, The Rise of Superman.
Okay.
And they talk about how in extreme sports they've kind of like hacked flow state, because the adrenaline. Like if you look at Tony Hawk hitting the 900. When he did it, first person to ever do it, within like 2 years, you had 12-year-olds doing it. Because you see, like once they saw, oh, humans can do it, they tried it.
It switches. There's a switch in humanity. It's like, oh, now it's what's the next best thing, and then people are just understanding, like they see that. Yeah,
and through the nature of extreme sports, it hacks flow state. So that's why you see such a rapid advance in whatever, name any sport in the X Games or even in the Olympics now, versus like a traditional sport. Like baseball has changed very little over the last 200 years.
Right.
Whereas in like, you look at the advances in skateboarding, surfing, snow, whatever, motorbikes, dude, they're doing like releasing their hands, double backflip, landing on the motorbike. Like, I'm like, what is going on? And it's like flow state. And so I think there's something about that that's so intriguing. So the book was called The Rise of Superman, and then a follow-up book called Stealing Fire. And that taps more into like tapping into flow state through hallucinogenics. and like
Whoa.
different stuff, like government studies that have gone into it, especially for like military stuff.
Yeah.
So really cool books. I listened to them both. I don't want to say I read them, but I listened to them both. I'd highly recommend those.
Sick.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so like intrigued with flow state, man, because that's the type of mentality that I want to be in. That's the state, obviously, when I'm playing drums.
Yeah.
And I haven't quite figured it out yet.
Yeah.
I
There's
had
no
like
a recipe.
no, it's different for everybody.
Yeah,
bro.
it hits
It's-
everyone at different times.
Absolutely.
I remember my last fight, because I fought Muay Thai. I don't know if I've ever told you
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we've
I
talked
had a
about
couple fights in Muay Thai. And first fight was pure adrenaline. I had a huge adrenaline dump, got TKO'd in the third round. I was murdering the guy, but I was just exhausted.
Yeah.
Second fight, way more calm and collected. And it's so weird. And I'm sure you felt this before, but it felt very dream state. I still remember hearing certain things. I remember because at the time I'd already started coaching baseball.
Yeah.
And so I remember hearing one of the dads in the crowd yelling, "Get him, coach." And like I remember hearing stuff like that. I remember my coach telling me when we first got into clinch, he's like, "You're comfortable in this position."
Yeah.
And so it's like one of those things. I'm like, I was in complete control, but also it had zero control.
You were in it.
Yeah.
That's fuck, it's called something. Have you ever read The Inner Game of Tennis?
No.
It's about that. So it's a famous coach wrote this book about it's specifically about tennis, but he talks about letting mind one and mind two take control.
Oh, I've heard about the mind one and two. Yeah.
And when they're like this, it's the perfect perfect flow to be in, specifically in sports. But Dave Elich, who's an incredible drummer teacher, I've taken a couple lessons with him. He recommended me that book.
Oh, sick.
And it talks about that. And I'm trying to implement, that was 2 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to implement like where I'm controlling. Because then when you like, yeah, but this side of the brain like needs to control instead of you pulling back and let your body do it. It's like learning where that balance is. Yeah. I'm still figuring it out. Yeah. But it is when it happens just
Magic
out
happens.
of nowhere, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Now to make that
you've hacked a code. Like you're tapping into something different at that point. And,
making that consistent for me, it's been the hardest. Like,
do you visualize a lot?
I try more and more now.
Yeah.
So for the Keith Urban thing, I visualize that shit.
Yeah. And that's why you killed it.
When I practice, like I have a mirror, and like I was like figuring out how I was gonna stand, like down to the details of like when I'm grooving back and forth when I'm not playing, like it was on a certain beat, so that way when I had to put my left foot on a hi-hat, because I have a remote hi-hat too, when I had to do that, it was like almost like this dance thing, like hitting my marks. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember like doing that, and that was the first time I think I've ever felt flow state in a big place like that.
Yeah.
And then a month later, we did CMAs at Nissan Stadium in Nashville.
Yeah.
Another one that was like, fuck yeah, dude. I was 70,000 people.
Whoa.
Crazy. Dude. Right before Jelly Roll.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So for my last fight, that was like my biggest practice was visualization. And what honestly the thing I kept coming back to was how good it was going to feel to celebrate with my family afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah, and I kid you not, man, everything went how I saw it happening. The only difference was I kept visualizing the ref raising my left hand when I won, and he raised my right.
Wow.
That was the only difference. Maybe it was a mirror. You know what I mean?
Maybe you were looking
maybe it was
in
that
a mirror
image.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was one of those things, and it was everything I wanted it to be. And it was in a casino in Albuquerque, like big. It was the biggest Muay Thai promotion in North America. Is called Lion Fights.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think technically I was the very first Muay Thai fight in New Mexico history.
Wow.
Because I opened up the card, and it was the first Muay Thai card to come through town. And so at a big casino, like a casino that like Earth, Wind and Fire had played at, like a big venue.
Yeah, man, big venue.
And again, I opened up the card on the amateur side, so it wasn't like sold out yet, but it was all my friends, I sold more tickets than anybody.
Yeah, there you go.
And so they're like that alone. They're like, yeah, you can come back for the next show, and then off my performance, they're like, yeah, you definitely got a spot on the next card. And then COVID hit. But
oh shit, timing wise.
I had 2 fights canceled during COVID, and after that I was like, nah, I don't know. At that time I was 32, 33, and I was like, yeah, fighting. Like I'm a strength conditioning coach.
Just comes. Yeah, the time.
I kind of want one more.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You think you could do it?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I think I could.
Hell yeah.
We'll see. I gotta stay healthy because I keep jacking up my shoulder every time. And Jen is just a godsend. Shout out Jen Elam.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
She told me the other day, because I've been having huge issues with my elbow and my shoulder, and she's like, that's because you do everything like you're throwing a punch. Like your arm is supposed to move like individually, but like I reach for a cup like I'm throwing a punch, or I reach for like I don't turn properly, and so my
Really?
shit's jacked up. Yeah, and it started training with Kyle in Dallas, like getting back into it because I was gonna fight November 2nd.
Of this year?
Yeah. In
Oh,
Albuquerque.
shit.
In Albuquerque, yeah. And then I told the guy I want to do it, and then they kind of never really got back to me. And then my best friend who was on the card, they bumped him to a different date. So I was like, all right, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But also my shoulder, I fucked it up so bad. And Jen was like, yeah, it's because you don't move your parts individually. You do. She's like, I bet you punch really hard. And I was like, man, you'd have to ask the other guy.
Yeah. We could. There's a couple of them. We could go
I'll
ask
punch
them.
some people.
Yeah.
All right. Wrapping it all up.
Yeah.
You're doing shows all the time.
All the time. Big shows, Kill Tony at the end of the year, New Year's Eve, 30th and 31st will be at the HEB Center. And then just if you want to hit me up, at Mike A. Gons 13 on Instagram. And I usually post everything right there if you want to come see a show or, want to come hang out at Onnit, come fucking do a workout with us. That's what I tell everybody. Come through. Come through.
Your brotherhoods are made there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then getting ready for High Rocks with Ashley Robert, trying to win this, man.
We got a big Onnit crew going.
We have a huge Onnit crew.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch. I'm not participating because I don't run, but I run my mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go watch and hang out, and we have so many people going. I just definitely want to check it out.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, dude, we got to do it again. I
love
feel like
it.
we could chat all day.
We could. We probably
This
have.
has probably been my longest episode. Honestly, yeah.
Great, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this has been the Lions Pit podcast. I'm Onnit Gomez, Mike Gonzales. Shout out to Zach Wolf at Simple Plan Nutrition, making the best meal preps out there, counting your macros for you, making it easy and also delicious. So shout out the guys at Simple Plan. Tune in next time. All right.
Dude, that was fun.